First and foremost.
Introduce ourselves. Our name's... No, sorry, it didn't work as well. I tried. Yes, huge shout out to everyone here, guys. Again, let me go ahead and give the shout outs here in the chat. We have Cab52. What's up, man? Montana 808, the one and only. Haley 94.
Don't forget to subscribe to some of these other guys as well, the Roundtable crew as well.
Go do it, guys. We have Voodoo Alpha. We have Straight Outta Dallas. Every time I see that name, I just want to
Straight Outta Dallas.
Continue.
And you guys, then you got to stop at that point.
Crazy mother.
Exactly. That's
exactly. So anyway, Sarah Small, what's up? Thank you for joining us here. We got Beetlejuice.
Who, me? I got
Spoony
you.
Dog, what's up? You always say you got me. I know you're going to say it.
Who, me? See?
Me Digital, what's up? We have Randy Lighter in the chat. No Dak Ninja. Ori Gidri, Manuel Trillo, Nathaniel Hall, Devontae Griffin, Texas Boy, Josh Kinberg. Thank you for joining us here. So, again, thank you to everyone here. So...
Thank you. Seriously, Fan Friday. And tonight, it's not really much crazy news out there regarding, even though, people try. A lot of people trying out there, to, ESPN throwing shit out there, literally taking crap from the bowels of somebody who just finished excruciating, and then and throw it against that wall and just see if it sticks. So we'll be discussing that and a lot more, guys, tonight of our Dallas Cowboys. But, of course, you guys came here to see and meet our new member here on Fan Friday, our new family member here in this household. And we know we showed you little Apollo. Remember little Apollo? Yeah, he was sick. He was not a... Yeah, well, we don't know how he's doing now, but he had to go back. But now we have to introduce the new member of the family here, guys. Not Apollo. We got a little girl. And her name is... Asha in the house. Let's introduce the one and the only, the sleeping Zeke dog.
Sleepy puppy.
Look over here.
Yeah,
she was napping a little bit after she ran us crazy and made us start the stream really late. So
yeah, she passed out right before her big debut, which is wonderful.
It's all right. She's a little snugglier now. She's camera shy. Look up here.
Hi.
What's that? Oh.
There we go. Hello, little one.
Let me show you guys what we do have.
She does look like a little Ewok again. Had she been a boy, I think fiance would have won the battle. And you guys can see her first piece of cowboy gear. It's way too big for her. She swims in it.
Star of everything, guys. You know the deal.
You want to bring over her favorite toy? And no lie, guys. Here, I'll bring it over.
I'll bring this over here. I'll take little one here. Check it out, guys. Yeah, you see it. It's blinged up.
So.
That's coming.
But yes, guys. So her little collar. She's not a fan of collars right now, so we're
I'll
just
take the little one here.
Here, go with.
All right. We got her here. We got the little one. She knows what's up. She knows the deal here. Asha knows the deal.
And you guys can see one of her favorite toys.
The star
she has good taste.
The star cannot be penetrated, but the rope can. Silver and blue rope. Right now she's like, don't put me on camera.
She's so tired. No. Come here.
Voila. So, welcome Asha to the family here, guys. Hit some of the comments maybe real quick.
Yeah, of course.
I fix this for her. And again, we're going to talk Cowboys, we promise.
We are going to talk Cowboys, guys. Don't worry. We have a little MCF mascot for now, so. Thank you, Voodoo. Ooh, we should get her an Eagle Chew toy. That's a great idea. What? So. No, Haley, again, so this is the only puppy, again, so unfortunately, guys, yeah, the other little puppy you guys saw, he did have to go back where he came from, but this little girl, she's not going anywhere. So, look. And now that she's made her official debut, guys, again, you might see their fiance or myself kind of, maybe popping off screen occasionally, but for now,
all fixed up.
all good.
All good and good shape.
And Eagles pee and poo mat. Oh man,
I just can't see the Eagles in the house.
You guys have a really good idea.
Can't see it in the house.
We won't put it in the house.
People think we're Eagle fans, but if they see it outside, though, or if they see it like in the house.
If I happen to see like a potty area or like a mat on the floor with like a eagle on it or whatever, and then I see the dog peeing, I'm not taking that as Eagle fans. Just saying.
On top of that, though, as Ori is saying, Jason Garrett Chew Toy, we actually saw Little G found a huge carrot, like the size of my leg, let's say, from hip.
Yeah, it was like a 3-foot long carrot.
And
obviously she is not able to play with a toy that's 3 feet long.
But I'll say this, Garrett's gone. So they'd have to be the Giants right now. We don't want that. So, we wanted a dog that wouldn't shed. We wanted a dog. We discussed that. And if we wouldn't shed, it would be small and cute for the kids to have. And, indoor type dog, not an outdoor, an outdoor nutty.
There you go, guys. So
there you go. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you, Q-Man.
Haley94 said that he feeds his pit bulls Mike Vick bobbleheads. I have to say,
Revenge
I know
is sweet in that
one. He was at the Pro Bowl. He was one of the
coaches.
Was he a coach for the Pro Bowl?
I think so.
So I get it, but come on, they could have made a better decision there. Just saying. There's a lot of guys that could have come back and coached in the Pro Bowl. So
agreed.
Let me see an Eagles pooper scooper. So let me see.
Some that's full of shit, right?
I know. And seriously, guys, much love to you guys. Thank you. We're gonna go ahead and give me a second. I'm gonna exit stage left and get the puppy back to
her sleeping quarters.
Napping.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll leave it with fiance here. Let's go ahead and talk Cowboys, though. We do have, again, not much Cowboy stuff to talk about, but we do want to talk about it. I mean, I don't know if you want to start with the CBA or anything else.
Well, we're gonna cross that in a moment here.
Let's say bye.
Oh yeah, gotta say bye. Asha gotta say bye. Asha. As she's nibbling and teething, little puppies do. Guys, she's like 8 weeks and 2 days. There you go, right there. Look, right here.
Bye.
She gave the tongue. She wants to lick and bite and chew. So she's good. She's good to go. She's getting put back in her little playpen bed. She has we have made for her there with the emergency pee pad and the necessities, food, water, that stuff. So true family member. Getting what she did. And again, she'll hopefully be chilling for the stream here, guys. You might have heard her in the background the last couple of nights in the audio versions. But again, Boss Cowboy was on here a couple nights back. Hopefully you guys checked out that standalone. We also did a lot of news stuff when we did that stream. And hopefully you guys are subscribed and hit that bell, like the video, all that good stuff to make sure, you guys stay in tune here. We do this on a daily thing. So we can go with the CBA and kind of go with that real quick, guys, because the collective bargaining agreement yesterday was agreed upon by the owners, the new one, the 2020, and it's supposed to be for 10 years. That's been agreed upon by the owners, and it was agreed upon pretty damn quickly, but yet. The players, there's been a lot of, especially from the more I wouldn't say elite guys, but the top level guys, the guys that get paid more money. All right, those guys have come out and said they're against this thing. The players already, early before even any kind of meeting, which was supposed to take place today, which they did. And so here's what happened, guys. The players voted. Or the players are going to vote, and the thing is, this guys. Another thing I got to add about the CBA. Mm-hmm. I think she is maybe. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yeah. Well, she knows how to go to the bathroom. So yeah, the rosters, guys. By the way, rosters are going to increase if this new CBA is passed. From 48 to 46 players on game day. So again, that's something I was saying the other day about the extra offensive lineman situation. That I said they would have to add an extra active spot. You to figure, right? So they're gonna if this thing is ratified, and even if it isn't, even if the next one is the one that's agreed upon, this is probably something that's gonna stay in there. The rosters, the game day active rosters will go from 46 active to 48 active. Overall rosters are gonna go from 53 to 55. So that changes things there. Practice squads.
So sorry, real quick. You see the Cowboys adding an extra offensive lineman, like active.
No. I'm saying that there's a rule that's going to be implemented. So one of those spots will be used for an offensive lineman.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like as a backup lineman, you got to kind of keep So you don't have to use a tight. We talked about it yesterday, baby. You don't have to use the lineman as a tight end. So it prevents tight ends being thrown in there as linemen. So that rule, you have to have an extra spot or two on your team, and they're adding 2 spots. I'm sure there's more rules associated to that, but when you're looking at it, guys, 46 to 48 on the active, 53 overall. It's going from 53 to 55 if this thing is approved by the players. And again, even if it's not, the next one will probably push the same information over as well. Practice squad is going to go from 10 players to 14 players. And that would start in 2022. Now, if this was approved, it wouldn't start in 2020. It wouldn't start in 2021. It started in 2022. But what would start, guys, it would go up to 12 this year and the next. So the next 2 would go from 10 to 12, and then from there 12 to 14, and stay on there for the rest of the 8 years that would be left over on the deal. And then teams would be allowed to bring back 3 players from IR, that short-term IR deal. That would mean that now you'd be able to put 3 players on there instead of 2. I think it was 2 was our number you can only put there with the option of getting back on the short-term IR. So, you're seeing how the roster changes have to occur, which also adds. That's why another reason why you have to add a little more salary cap just to make room for those other players. You got to add them to the list, right? So 53 is what counts. Practice squad don't count against the salary cap. So when you're looking at your salary cap, you're gonna have to make room for 2 more players. Is what you're looking at. And again, they're gonna be base players. They're not gonna be like obviously the last 2 in your roster are gonna be your 5th, your 8th or 9th offensive lineman and some other player, right? So. It's not going to be the big money guy. So you need a little more, another $1 million cap or something like this, up on the cap just to take care of the extra 2 spots or so. But again, it's interesting to know that they're going to make it a little more expandable. This is where it helps the teams and it hurts the players because now the players kind of controlled by the team. It almost used as a piece in case they want to keep him for the next season, like we did with Noah Brown multiple times over and over again, like we've done with other guys. That we've kind of. Not sure if they went. Rico Gathers. That was a prime example, right? I mean, they didn't want to cut him. They didn't want to let him off. We didn't have to cut one of our 53 in the middle of the year. So now they're gonna have 3 guys you can pull out from that thing. We had Connor McGovern last year on that list. We had what's his name, Luke Gifford. He actually was somebody who came off.
Luca, I'm like, Luke, wrong sport.
Yeah, Luke Gifford came off of that short term and came back to play a couple games towards the end of the season. So, anyways, that's the little input there that I did not add in from yesterday's kind of discussion about the CBA. And again, here's another question I have. How will a 17-game schedule affect the normal 8 home, 8 away?
Oh, good point. So, basically, it's going to be kind of like a back and forth. One year, you'll have the game favoring you, an extra home game. The next year, you have an extra away game.
Right, so that's the thing. Will it be alternating years? 8 at home, 9 away, and then 9 at home and then 8 away? Or will it be an annual neutral field game? Like, for instance, London, Mexico.
Ooh, you see? I like that. Because
everybody gets an international game.
And now no one loses, right? Everyone's happy, and the NFL is happy.
NFL making that money, spreading that.
Well, honestly, shield. Most teams would be happy too because they get to expand their brand in a market that they maybe wouldn't have previously without having to sacrifice the home game, which we know is a sticking point not just with Jerry, but other stadium.
Think about this too.
Owners and things like that.
Think about this, San Antonio. And I don't know how close it is relative to Houston or Dallas. My point is San Antonio could get a game.
Is this again? Isn't it about an hour out from Houston?
So maybe Houston would play there. You know what I mean? Like they would play there out of area game there. Cowboys would play, let's say, Mexico. Niners would play, and the Raiders would play in Oakland. Ooh, multi-minded Scotty.
Open-minded movie man, much love. He said, with the 256, anyone feel the 17th game is a bit uneven? I'm one of those people that likes numbers. And I like even numbers.
You want that?
Except for the number 5. Like, I like all even numbers.
We want to get to 6.
Number 5 is the best. We want to get to 6. But yes, it's something about it grinds my gears. I guess
on that list, they're
open-minded. Though. 18 games is definitely not going to happen, right? But you guys are making some great points here in the chat. Haley94 said, it looks like it'll pass when other players vote on it. Your base is going from 100,000 to 595,000. The average player is asking, where's my pen? Show me the dotted line.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point. The players who have the most to lose are the players at the top of this, system here. They're the ones that are risking the most in a certain way. Just because, again, they already have their money. They don't I mean, they could always want more, but it really benefits the bottom totem pole players, the average player.
Right, but that's who it benefits. And again, that's most of the votes going to go there. But it's also the bigger name guys who are going to say, I'm not going to play. Why would I play for this extra game? Maybe risk injury just so I can get $250,000.
Exactly.
I'm just saying. I know it says $250,000. Anybody would love that. Yeah, I guess we would, but not when you're getting $100 million a game.
And again,
like
when
Tank.
you are risking, so you're gonna make that $250,000, but you're risking maybe not making money down the road because of an injury or something else happening.
Comes out of that game. That's gonna change everything.
I see both sides of it, but the overwhelming majority of players seem like they really want this to happen, and rightfully so. I mean, we all have talked, fiance and I definitely have had our moments and talked at length about the fact that there's a huge inequality when it comes to the pay of the players and the pay and the income that the owners or the NFL makes. They profit so much. Remember, we said billion with a B.
Overall, yes.
Overall. So this is a chump change. We're talking huge numbers here. And these players are the ones that are bringing that money in and making it happen. So for them to get a little bit more here makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, we have to know first what happened, because right now, as I'm saying, I'm just adding little last couple of kind of notes here, like how would you deal with that extra game,
Okay, so actually, San Antonio is about 5 hours from Dallas.
So yeah, my point is that Houston would get
about 2.5 hours, from Houston. So actually, that's not a bad idea. San Antonio might work because it's a little bit kind of.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that San Antonio would be so we would, let's say they would have 10 games out of the United States as the neutral as a neutral site, right? Mexico, London, a couple other places, and then let's say you can play a couple games in London, right? A couple times, but then what I'm trying to say is you can have non-football cities getting games. Is my point. Like the Oakland Raiders, they don't have a team. Oakland don't have a team anymore. The Raiders, even though it would be kind of a Raiders home game.
I know you get
the Vegas Raiders playing in Oakland for a game would be a neutral site, so to speak.
And we have DCFN in the chat, guys. You know what to do. Sub it up down below to the Roundtable crew. But to answer your question, DCFN, so no, it actually goes down to 2 preseason games, right?
Well, yeah, nothing is said on that yet.
If it happens.
Well, again, I really haven't had, actually, I don't even know the detail on that side of things 100%, but that was the alleged, the thought process. Adding that last game takes away 2 preseason games.
Yeah, so other people are confirming it in the chat as well. So yeah,
right.
It goes down to 2 games to kind of compensate for that. And again, we also kind of discussed the fact that if we are down to 2 preseason games, you might not see starters in preseason games anymore, really.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. How you might see a one drive and then 1 quarter at most, or half a quarter in the entire preseason in the 2 games for the starters.
Yeah. So Sarah's saying it would be 3 preseason games again. The point is, it definitely won't be 4. From what we've heard,
right?
It sounds like
it's 2. Something to be chopped down.
But yeah, not as many preseason games.
Now, a lot of things is this. Now, when you look at the salary cap. The total here, the way it's looking, and this is interesting to note too, as far as the new CBA. Under the new CBA this year, if it was approved before March 17th or March 18th, if it was approved, the cap would change. But we don't know what the numbers would be as of right now. The thing is that what I'm seeing here, guys, is that the projection put it around $200 million. That was without the CBA being being agreed to, right? If you agree to it, it's going to be over 200. So they're saying that it's going to start off with more of a slight bump over that 200. So it might be like 210, let's say. You'll get 210, which again, all our numbers were off of 200. Now, if you have 210, that means now you can afford a whole lot of new guys now, right? You might be able to afford a Robert Quinn or Byron Jones if you wanted to. You guys understand what I'm saying? On top of the other guys that we already know that are above them, again, in front of them in line.
Regardless of what the bump ends up being, it'll be very telling to see who the Cowboys aggressively go after with all that new money, right? Because if they go after Quinn over Jones or Jones over Quinn, it just kind of gives you an idea of where the Cowboys' mindset's at.
Right. Yeah, true. But again, that's like bonus, in my opinion, because right now, I don't think anybody really thought that this was going to get, I still don't think it's going to get approved. Mm-hmm. And again, but I do think that if the players, right now it's to the point where the players have to approve it, and if they do, then it will be, passed for this year. So if it passes, it would be interesting to see how much more it is for 2020. But more importantly, guys, huge spikes are coming for 2021 and beyond. That's already a set thing. This year it might be kind of like a slight bump. My point is that the years after that, it might go up 10 million this year, more than, let's say 10 million, 12 million is what it's going to go up, 11 million. It might go up 20 million, right, total from last year. And then next year it'll go up 40 million or something like this. Huge bumps expected there, guys. If the percentage, I think a lot of it's going to come down to the percentage of revenue and all that stuff. If it moves as much as it has been reported in the past, it'll probably be, I would say this. Here's what would be my guesstimation on the salary cap. Within the next 2 to 3 years, it will probably go from 200 to 300. I'm not saying it's going to happen in 1 year, bam. I'm saying that if it starts next year, then it'll be, let's say, 2 or 3 years from next year. Expected to go over $300 million per team on the salary cap. Right now, we're just getting to the threshold of 200,000 in 2020 if it stays where things are right now and nothing is signed before March 18th. But if it does get signed, you're going to see probably a bump from there and then a bigger bump the year after and the year after. I'm saying 20, 40, and then let's say another 20 or something like this. You're looking, or another 40, let's say. If you go 20, 40, 40, you're looking at 100 million. In 3 years. I think that's very viable and definitely interesting to see how contracts will be done now. In the sense of now, whenever the new CBA gets approved by both sides, it's going to be interesting to see how that takes things forward with contracts and how people are going to say, well, I'm going to wait till next year to do my contract because next year the cap even opens up bigger. You know what I'm saying? So hey, I'm going to cash in.
I have a feeling that unless the NFL wants to avoid a total standstill when it comes to contracts, because again, any player, even the worst of the worst player, won't want to sign a contract until the next year because even if he sucks, he'll suck and still get paid more next year. So unless they put in some kind of maybe a sliding fee or something that allows teams to maybe sign players in such a way where they can, I don't want to say kick the can down the road, but some kind of like integration process where teams might be able to use those numbers and start some negotiations that way. Because if not, then I foresee not Cowboys, everyone across the league is going to see contracts kind of slow down and come to a standstill.
Yeah. No,
I'm just not sure how they would handle that. I mean, we look at how many free agents we have. Imagine if all the guys who are about to lose their contracts like Cheeto and Jordan and all these other names. Imagine if we couldn't even begin to touch them or talk to them or do anything. Like, how crazy would that be?
Yeah. No, I mean that's my point.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's kind of like where we're stuck at here. But
I agree. So we're kind of having a quick discussion in the chat about kind of the frustration with the thought of only 2 preseason games. I mean,
well, for the rookies and young guys, you don't have as much time to determine in a pro football style setting, game that as much as you'd like. I think that whether it's 2 or maybe there's some kind of like some teams will get 3. I don't know how we don't know how it's gonna work yet. But my point is that to analyze and kind of come to a decision on your younger guys. Yeah, they're gonna lose a game, let's say, but I also think it's gonna be hyper focused on them for probably 7 out of the 8 quarters of the preseason if it's 2 games.
Yeah, and the other aspect of it too, again, Voodoo Alpha saying players want to get rid of tackling in training camp.
It's going to be less padded practices in training camp.
Yeah, so Haley94 just said players are demanding less pad days. Dallas Cowboy Football News said the league won't last long with this. Cowboys Abroad said players already start out sloppy because of a cupcake preseason. I think players need preseason games with on conditioning for the season.
And I hear you guys.
Less games is problematic. And honestly, I agree, but like you guys were also pointing out earlier, we're seeing more and more teams like the Rams and one other team I know for sure held out their starters and basically the entire preseason. And overall, I'm not sure how you can say it went for them. You know what I mean? I think health-wise it ended up working out pretty well. Performance-wise, I can't, I can't speak for that because I haven't been watching those teams close enough to say. But I do have to wonder, I mean, I already said week 1 already looks so rough for so many teams. We're going to be seeing football, like we have sloppy 17 games. Yeah. It still might as well be 16 games. It's just that now this sloppy game is going to matter towards your record. So we're going to be seeing a lot of sloppy play, a lot of missed tackles, a lot of crazy touchdowns, I bet you, week 1. And obviously, a lot of like uneven scores. Like I expect blowouts week 1 too, because you're going to see a lot of that sloppiness. So
the thing is that this is what the owners approved, but this was with this is when they had the arbitrators on each side discussing this, and so the owners know that some of these things in this, not all the owners voted yes for this. It wasn't a unanimous thing. But my point is that not every, it was a lot of these things that you're hearing, these things are coming from the player side. That the owners are like, all right, we're cool with that. Let's let that in there. So when it comes to the padded practices, I guess they know that they're going to be taking a hit in that way, in the sense of maybe you're going to get a little more sloppy play for a game that's going to count for your record, which is a great point Fiance just made. But at the same time, are you going to get guys that are going to last an entire season because they didn't get hurt in preseason, or they didn't get hurt after maybe too sluggish of a preseason.
Sean Lee almost again, would Sean Lee have been
lasted
better
longer?
off?
We don't know. That's a great question because he could have. Would he have benefited from a shorter preseason and a longer? He would have played more games. We're assuming, or would he have?
Just because he didn't have as much. Example because
didn't stretch out as much. I don't know before
exactly.
games. I'm just saying he didn't get as many games. Because of the preseason games he did prepare for. Mm-hmm. He lasted as long as he did. I'm trying to say if he didn't have that, maybe he would have lasted 3 weeks instead of 6 weeks.
I know, and I know this is very on the bottom of the totem pole of importance, but I also wonder how we adapt our strength and conditioning to counter for the fact that now we're playing 17 actual games
with less contact and less preseason, less padded.
Just saying that I would like to see how we handle it and make sure that these players are making sure to stay physically fit. Honestly, I'm not saying I want to force players to do things during the offseason, but I wish that there were more specific things in their contract to kind of force players to maintain some kind of offseason program or something, just because I know we can't do it, and I understand, and I'm not saying we should. I'm just saying I wish we could, because I think that would be a way for us to also ensure that we're checking in with the players and that they're maintaining themselves in such a way where we might be able to lessen injury risk or something.
I hear you.
So, I don't know. Maybe they already do. And we just don't know about it or something. I don't know.
Well, give me like
I'm just saying, maybe I'm sure lots of players work out during the off season.
Right.
Obviously, I'm
they
just
all
saying
probably
that
do. Yeah, most
how
of
many
do.
of them do something maybe more structured or more officially through the team or a little more monitored.
The thing is that to me, this is a thing where you're putting the responsibility on the player, right, to keep themselves fit for. But if they got a contract already and they just want to, let's say, eat and sleep all day, right? And they're off season, they come back, they're not going to be conditioned, they're not going to be ready for training camp, they're not going to be ready for the first game, and they know they're on the team, right? So that's where I think
fat ass Zeke from Cabo again. Sorry,
but my point is that I wouldn't even put that on. Look, I get the jokes, but the thing is more about like a whole entire off season. Zeke didn't have a lazy off season. He was there for the OTAs. He was there for all the team stuff. He just didn't show up for training camp. And again, he was a little. What you could say whatever you like. My point is that's business. I'm not going to talk about that into this deal right now, which is actually part of the business of it. But what I'm trying to say is that players' health going forward. The conditioning, they're still going to have conditioning. They're still going to have their training camp the full way, as always. I don't think it's going to be a shorter training camp, is what I'm trying to say. But there'll be just less games to play. So whether they will do more, I think there'll be more inter-teams, like teams scrimmaging each other, which could also lead to injuries. But there'll be more team scrimmages. There'll be, and less official on-the-field stuff out there. There's other ways, I'm sure, of analyzing these young guys that they can do in practice or versus other teams in scrimmages that they don't have to play 4 quarters on the field. As long as you get the refs out there, everyone knows the rules, make sure the young guys are adapted to the new, the rules in the NFL from college and all the other things, the guys I think you can analyze guys with film on the field against your own and again, against scrimmaging against others. And then you have the 2 games that kind of like they're like these rookie guys trying to make the team. These are like their playoff games in a way. These are their time to shine here. So I think that's still going to be okay. The problem is the conditioning part, the less pads and more walkthroughs and more of that shit. They're not going to be those hits. They're going to be more. They're going to take more. They're going to be doing more damage in the regular season to these players on all teams. It's not just the Cowboys. All teams are going to be hit hard.
You just made me realize something too. We haven't. I don't know if they will do anything, but do you see the draft changing at all because of these changes? Do you see maybe combines, for these younger guys, scouting things? Do you see anything during the off season, on the rookie side of things, changing at all? In any way?
We saw the thing about the 5th-year options and stuff. If the player outperforms their contract in the rookie contract, they will make almost franchise tag or transition tag type money in their 5th year if they get they're guaranteed a certain amount of money in the first 4 years. It's fully guaranteed for the 4 years. In the 5th year, they would get that high level money. They wouldn't just get the 5th-year option money, which was a ripoff. Like someone like Zeke, that's why he held out. So it would stop players from, number one, holding out to ensure those 4 years guaranteed at a higher level, and then at a higher rate. And then for the best players, that's a very good advantage.
Yeah.
And
but
then
I'm sure it saves the team's
fifth
money
year
too, right? Because
it helps
it's still a lot of money.
It helps
but
the
it's
team retain the player,
Okay.
and that's the key here. Of course, you're paying Zeke the big money no matter what. My point is that Zeke had the power because we drafted him. Now we're gonna let him go.
Imagine if we had had that kind of option where we could have paid Zeke obviously like more this year without having to commit to signing him long term just yet, and we could have worked out a deal with Dak first.
That's the
reason.
Let
everything else
that's
happen.
my point of that.
I know. I just want to
right. You walked everyone through it that way. That's exactly what would be the difference in the sense that you'd be able to work.
And Haley 94 makes a good point. Look at all the players who held out, but let's start with one of the more recent older ones, Dez. Dez held out and then he came back and then he got hurt. No offense, Zeke, held out, he came back, and I know it's not all his fault, but
held out. What are you talking about held out for Dez back when he was with us?
Yeah, like he held out to get his contract.
For us, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like he sat out for a little bit, but obviously everything worked out. He came back all good, but when he came back, then he got hurt basically like right away, and we didn't get the full value out of Dez because of that. Zeke, I'm not saying he's hurt, and I'm not saying, but he held out and he came back, and for a lot of different reasons, he didn't have as good of a year as even he was expecting. Just throwing that out there. We want to see players, and hey, you can say Tank too if you want to throw him into the list. He didn't hold out, but we had that issue. Then he came back, and then he had what some would consider a subpar year. So I'm just saying that there could be a narrative going on here, and the Cowboys are kind of making it an issue by making players get to the point where they're holding out in the first place.
Right.
And at least this aspect, we could have avoided it if we had an option like this.
Right. Well, again, this is the thing for guys like, for instance, and I don't know how LVE would work into this, but let's say our pick this year, McKinney, right? Let's say we get McKinney or Delpit or Henderson or whomever, Kinlaw. I don't care the name. My point is that whoever we draft in this year's draft in the first round, let's say. If this CBA was ratified and accepted, it would. Sorry, guys, this whole thing's falling apart here. It's hard to do it. You got your dog running around. Anyways,
it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the audio is good. All right.
There, you want me to check it?
No, we're good. No, I'm sure we're good. I'm sure they would tell us if it's not good, right, guys? Sorry, the microphone fell, guys, and I lost track of what I was saying. So.
Sorry, baby.
No one's listening. It's okay.
They are.
The point, I think I was talking about the money situation when it comes to the fifth-year option. And my point is that someone right now who would be drafted, let's say, under this contract, under this CBA, would be able to, the player, let's say, before the team takes out the fifth-year option, and that player has overperformed where they're going to get that fifth-year option taken out on them, they are fully guaranteed on their rookie contract, which is something that some of these, like Taco, right? You cut him. Mm-hmm. He's not fully guaranteed. I'm pretty sure he's not fully guaranteed in his contract. So that's the difference with these guys that are going to be kind of held, like a Carl Joseph. All right, he's a guy that's probably he's going to be let go this year. You're not going to re-sign him, but like a Byron Jones, that kind of situation. These guys would probably make top dollar at the end of their fifth year on their rookie deal. So that it keeps that holdout stuff for those first rounders, kind of a little bit, maybe pushed it down the road a little bit, and maybe it would have opened up other options for us, like you said.
Yeah.
If it was something like that was around,
the fully guaranteed part is obviously the bigger part in this. You know what I mean? So like, let's say we have that fifth year option, we don't exercise it. They still are. All that money is still fully guaranteed, right? For the first 4 years? If we, or is it only that fifth year that's fully guaranteed?
No, baby, no. The first, no. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Let's say Zeke. Mm-hmm. We took that fifth year option in his third year, right? I mean, we were going to. We knew we were going to. I'm sorry. Was he entering the fourth year? Yeah, entering the fourth year. After 3 years, he can sit out. That's part of the rules, right? In the CBA. So after his third year, entering his fourth year, we announced we had to announce when we're going to take out the fifth year option. We said, okay, we're going to do it. Let's say, whatever the deadline was last year, and it was, let's say, May. We said, okay, we're taking a fifth-year option on Zeke. So that situation, then it would fully guarantee him for his final year of his contract, I guess you could say, and of course for the fifth year, it would be fully guaranteed contract. But I think it is more of a thing where, let's say the team wanted to say, we want to get that fifth-year option now at, let's say, whatever the rate is at that time. Let's say whatever the market is for the running backs at that time. Let's say they're like, with Zeke, we want to take that fifth-year option on your rookie year because we know you're that good. Or after his rookie year, hey, we on the second entry, we want to take out the 50-year option. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but I think they're allowing you to kind of take that 50-year option out ahead of time. If you do that, you're fully guaranteeing, that player in there with whatever contract they're in. All these details will come out as time goes on. And again, I'm telling you guys, these things, even though it will be some of the stuff will be in there when it's finally whenever agreed upon. It might be now, it might be a year from now. But my point is that whenever it is, these things are what you're going to see that are going to be kind of dipped along the CBA, the new CBA. That's going to go for about a decade. It's going to go for about 10 years. So all these things are very important to kind of, even though, again, nothing is solidified here, but I believe a lot of these things you're going to hear the same language, the same changes, similar changes, and all of these things. It's just the numbers that change. But I think that the changes are, we're hearing them now. We're seeing them now. And it's just a matter of when. Is it going to be for this year, or is it going to be for next year and then the next 10 after that? So
and to kind of touch on one quick point in the chat, exactly. So if we're waiting for players who hold out to get back into form and they also aren't in preseason or, practicing during the preseason stuff, I mean, across the board, you're going to see a lot of teams just, look really rough early in the season in a way that, I don't think you're going to see, I don't think you have seen just yet.
Yeah, I think it will almost lower the game for first couple of weeks in a way. It's going to suck.
I see the potential for a lot more big, I bet you any money, whatever the play of the year is going to be, it'll happen between weeks 1 to 4. You know what I mean? Obviously it could happen later in the season, but that's kind of the time to have those moments. Or, I mean, do you remember that big play that Tavon Austin had a few years ago? Where it was like the first or second play.
Second play of the Giants. Yeah,
exactly. Something like that. That's what I'm trying to say. Expect that to happen pretty much to all 32 teams.
Just because of the ill-preparedness of the season. I'm not disagreeing with you guys. Really, it comes down to getting used to the changes when it happens. After a couple of years, you'll be like, what happened? Yeah. To me, it's more how they're going to do the stats when it comes to the rushing records and all these things. They're just teams are going to be able to get to break records now because that you can never break it because they have an extra game, whether it's a quarterback, a running back, a receiver, whatever, sacks, whatever it is. These numbers are going to be skewed from here on out. 2020 and beyond is now, whenever they add the 17th game, like when they used to have like 10 games or 12 games and then 14 games and then now 16 games. As it keeps going, and it's something that's it was bound to happen. But I wonder how they, I guess they just keep going the same way they've been going. I mean, to me, it sucks though because so many years, I guess in my lifetime, it's been pretty much 16 games. So it just sucks that now we're going to see a big change in stats. I think if a player stays healthy.
Now, baby, everyone in the chat's feeling a little snackish. So
Damon
they want to talk
Harrison.
about snacks and just kind of the general thoughts on.
I mean, I the guy he's passion, he's heart. He'll go in there. He'll give you some. He'll be an impact player, I think, if he still has it. I haven't really read enough or watched enough to see if he still has it, so to speak. I mean, the Lions cut him. I think it's more of a money thing. But we'll have to see how much he costs. I think he'll be a player definitely going to be looking at when it comes to another option. When you look at the interior, the one-tech spots. Because, again, Danny Shelton and a couple other names we've mentioned, whether it's the guy from Buffalo or Michael Pierce from Baltimore, whomever that you might think is out there, there's always another guy out there. So another example would be, Snacks Harrison, who would be top notch. And when you look at that's just the interior. When you look at the outside, the rushers, you see guys out there that are available way too out of our price range. But even Everson Griffin, he's fantastic. But listen, he walked away from a $13 million contract. That means he's going to get more than $13 million. You guys understand? He's going to get like tank money. Like, not tank, but upper teens, all right? So what are we going to do? We're going to go from Quinn to even more? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. The Cowboys might see the value in just paying Quinn, whatever his
or just paying
asking price
Shaq Lawson, which is our guy. We keep talking about him, half the price of Quinn, and it can stop the run better. Maybe he's not as good of a pass rusher, but he's still young. He's in a rotational role with Buffalo. I look for him to be a guy that is a low-key guy.
That's funny, Voodoo. Actually, New Jersey Cowboy fan. That's really funny. He said snacks. We also have Cheeto and Taco worked out. No more snacks.
Enough snacks. We don't want these guys getting bigger either.
I don't know. We do want some juicy fat boys. So.
Well, here's what I did say though.
Maybe they need snacks for some juicy.
This is what I wanted to say about earlier about the about the conditioning thing real quick, and we got to move on to this because we're gonna be here talking forever about not getting on to the news portions. But again, I have to finish the news, and it's gonna be quick. I want to hear everything from you guys, just your questions. We'll comment and talk about it and discuss it here. It's Fan Friday, so it's whatever. No holds barred. Anyways, the thing is, when it comes to conditioning, like I was saying, players now are going to be more, let's say if there's nothing in the contract that's written there, like you said, the players are going to have to be more responsible with their bodies. But if they get lazy, who pays for that? Yeah, the player pays if they don't have a contract. But if they have a contract like Tank, like Zeke, like anybody, like Zach Martin, if these guys get lazy when they have their contract already and then it's nothing in their contract, that's where it's going to hurt. That's going to hurt conditioning. Mm-hmm. That's going to give them that's going to hurt in the sense of literally hurt. They're going to get injured because they're not conditioned in the offseason. They chose not to, and then they came in training camp and then they twisted their ankle. Now they got torn ligaments in the ankle or something like this, or worse. So those are the guys that would scare me. The guys that kind of are set already. And I'm going to talk about Zeke or Cooper when he gets his contract, or Dak when he gets. I'm not talking about these guys because of the hot topics. I'm talking about the guys on the team. Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith. The big guys inside, Tank on the other side. You want to throw them in there? That's fine. With these guys, just saying, those are the ones that worry me more. The ones that got paid and then they don't have anything to, like Dak's constantly conditioning because he's constantly got something to prove. So off season, the owners are the ones that lose with those guys because they're investing so much money into these guys, right? And then they lose them because they didn't take care of themselves in the off season. See, that is where I think they have to include these things, like you said, in their contracts.
And it's one of those things where it's, once again, it's like in their best interest. And because I know that there are plenty of players like Dak, like Amari, like plenty of other players who maintain good shape throughout the offseason. They kind of, and it's not about being in shape or whatever. It's just about keeping your body, healthy, active, loose, limber, so that when you come back to doing the football stuff, you can avoid injuries. To me, we see lots of guys do things in the off season, like, even yoga or, we see those little yoga ballet pictures and joking around or whatever, but you also see a lot of guys like at the beach kind of working out, training, conditioning. I remember a lot of those videos of Tank when he was kind of coming back and training in the sand and doing
Malik
his moves
Collins,
and
those guys.
So we hope I know it's Zeke at Cabo. My point is that, I'm just saying, like, I know there are ways for them to, just include it in a level of their life. Let's just keep it that way because, honestly, the ones who lose the most are these players. Big, heavy load. But you guys were asking earlier, I know Cowboys Abroad asked, so does that mean the NFL is going to be 420 friendly now with the new CBA? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, we're gonna discuss that now, guys.
And guys, everyone in the chat,
much love.
Huge shout out. Hit the like if you like what you're watching. Subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell. We're here daily and nightly. So make sure to go ahead and follow us.
She was never part of it. She was in, I don't think you were born when that song came out. That's the funny thing.
I don't care. I like it.
Crappy.
I don't care.
That's what's cool here. So yes. And also new family member, you guys probably seen her already. She made her appearance, but she's over there snoring right now. So
I know. So let me give some quick
I see my man Ori Gadry in here, Voodoo Alpha, Anthony Lavelle, much love. Appreciate you as always. Josh Kimber, Tyrone
T
Church.
From Argentina said, no one more juicy than Snacks. He's a perfect fit, and he lives in Dallas. This is a no-brainer.
The key is athletic. We want to get athletic, one-tech type guys in there, guys that are quick as well as big, right? You want to get a guy that's, that could be 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 330, 340, right? You want those guys who can still move around. You just don't want, you don't want a 380 guy. I don't think they even, honestly, are there any really that big of a guys out there that are? You're one tech. You're still going to be mobile. Mm-hmm. You're one tech in this day and age, and that's why Boss Cowboy. It's kind of he was telling you can use these one techs as three techs. Very good point because basically they're the same. You get just a bigger version of a three tech, right? Usually a bigger three tech and use them both the one and the three tech spots. Mm-hmm. But the one key thing is not that they are big. The one key thing is that they are athletic. The athleticism is what's important, along with their huge, big stature and size. But they're not going to be blubber 380. They're going to be strong 340. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly. So that's the biggest thing there. So let me see. New Jersey Cowboy fan, I just hope it works. IDK, how I feel about some of the new-ish going on. And at least, that's why I said just be open. You know what I mean? I'm not discounting anyone's doubts or reservations about all the changes and the stuff we have going on. but just be open to see how it plays out, because this is a new change for the Cowboys. And there will be some adjustments, but I think that we'll come out of this for the better in the end. So
I'm the sheepdog.
Quick hands to Thomas Garrett. So
Thomas Garrett in the house, sheepdog in the house. Seriously, guys, Thomas Scorpio in the house. Thank you all.
I will talk about whether you should throw up the X or keep dreaming in a little bit. But let's go ahead and kind of get back to the CBA.
CBA, quick. I'm going to try to get this thing done because we're almost at the end of this CBA portion of things. And I know it could get bogged down, we don't really care. But yes, it affects the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, maybe more so than most teams out there right now. So CBA.
Almost 50 people agree with you, so.
Hit that like if you agree. The marijuana, guys, the marijuana testing, that's another change, which is going to impact this team. And we see David Irving coming back. I doubt it. But Randy Gregory,
guys.
He'll be somebody you want to look at. Now, when will it happen? Probably not this season if it's not ratified or agreed upon. But here's the thing, guys. The CBA proposal regarding marijuana, and I'm still hopeful that they can still kind of amend it. Can they just fucking amend this shit and just add it in the fucking thing right now this year without the whole fucking thing getting approved? It just makes no sense. But here's the thing, guys, because both sides want this. As I said the last couple of days about this, we've been really hitting this out of the ballpark when it comes to getting the info right on this marijuana testing thing. Testing window is going to go from 4 months to 2 weeks. It's a month and a half of stoppage. Come on, guys. You can do it. You can do it. If 96% of the NFL players can stop for 5 months, they can stop for 2 months. They can stop for a month and a half. So, anyways, if you don't, you're just a dumbass. But, okay, we talked about the suspensions. No one's getting suspended for marijuana use anymore unless it's associated, unless you beat someone up and you had weed on you. Then you're going to be contract detrimental to the league. Let's say you were speeding or you were pulled over and, your taillight was out. Right? I don't know what to say. And you had weed on you and you broke that state's law. Guess what?
Exactly.
Contract detrimental to the. It's got to be weed and something else. It just can't be weed. Like Randy Gregory, who is just weed. It's just like him. He's not doing anything wrong. He's not domestic. Nothing. There's nothing going on. He's doing it and breaking any rules or laws. Just smoking weed. And in that sense, that's what the NFL is saying. There's even if you get caught smoking weed in those 2 weeks, they're gonna say, a fine or something. So that's it. No suspensions allowed.
Exactly. So, and let's say that you did get stopped by the police only for the weed thing. Like they pulled you
weren't
over.
Speeding.
Exactly. Like it was only marijuana. Does that mean that just a fine? Right?
I think that'd be a fine. Although in the media it would be, it's something that's conduct. It depends on the state.
It's not about the media. It's about the fact that like you said, the police have now stopped you and given you a ticket, and they gave you a ticket for marijuana.
Even if it was a turning without turning, you made a turn without signaling. I mean, that technically would be. I'm saying if
it was only the marijuana thing, I'm not sure how that works.
Would they
just because of the fact that
were they high when they were driving? Then they're in trouble. Simple as that. Just like if there was alcohol, it'd be the same thing.
Look at Rico.
No, but he was in a car with a bag of weed, but he wasn't driving.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he only got charged for possession. That's what I'm saying.
He would be.
So he would be okay.
But it is the rule that he broke the law.
So because he broke the law, it's
just related,
detrimental. So I'm just saying, that's how the NFL can kind of get around it.
They're talking about the testing portion of it is the thing. Okay. See, that's the thing. Like let's say Randy Gregory is suspended indefinitely because he's done something out and somebody saw him smoking a joint and then he got in trouble or blunt.
He tested within the league.
He tested within the league positive for marijuana. Exactly. So because he tested, you cannot get Randy Gregory has lost half his career at least, a third of his career at least. Because of this silly fucking rule. If this rule was now implemented, this run right now, that's agreed upon by the owners, by the way, agreed upon this. If this was agreed upon, then it means that Randy Gregory would be able to probably be reinstated immediately and be able to play this season. And let's say, here's an example. I want to give you an example. Let's say Zeke, he goes in, it's time to take the test, it's 4:20. He fails it. He's like, fuck it, I'm smoking anyways. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to smoke all year round. He's smoking. He walks in. He fucking pisses. Done. Fails a drug test for weed only. And then they fine him, $420. I'm just saying. They fine him, $4,200. And then he continues with his life. That's it. Maybe I don't know what other. I don't think they would even harass him anymore. You guys understand what I'm saying? It's almost like a way of just keeping tabs on your players. We don't know what the next step would be if you got caught.
Yeah, they haven't really said anything more than that. The point is that there isn't much of a consequence outside of a fine, even if you do fail the drug test during that 2 week span.
Right. And another change is there's going to be less number of players tested at all. They're just not going to test you. Some of these players are not going to be tested at all.
Which, you know what, helps the NFL because currently they have a narrative of random testing.
Yeah.
Random
Yeah, was
testing.
that Cheeto? They got that random testing for catching Saquon week 1?
Yeah, we had, not just us personally, but we've seen throughout the league that there are sometimes players that just get picked on a little more. And I know they say it's random. We all know it is not all.
We know some other guys,
random.
yep.
That's all.
So another thing, guys, as I said, guys, it reduces penalties for positive drug tests. As I said, positive marijuana drug test fail would now only get you a fine of some sort. You cannot get suspended, even if you fail it every time you come into the office. Imagine, here's the thing. What I'm trying to say is this. Think about if Randy Gregory comes in all the time, just even if he's put on even if they say we're going to test you 10 times in a year now because you failed once. Okay. So you just keep taking my money away. I mean, that's someone like Zeke might just be like, listen, if they catch me, I'm paying $4,000. You know what I'm saying?
Look at it as a weed tax for whichever player chooses to. I'm just saying,
for not stop or get caught.
I would rather pay the NFL
a weed tax.
You know, $10,000 every time I fail a test or every time I get fined. If it means I can keep smoking that sweet, sweet ganja year round, doing whatever I want. I can see a lot of players, especially some of the players who can afford it the most, taking advantage of that. But I mean, I don't know.
Sorry, Scorpio cracked me up there.
So,
and also another thing that changed on this whole thing with weed is that it actually raises the nanogram threshold. Because again, this is a very important thing. People don't really.
Now you can get more high.
No.
I'm joking.
The positive test went from 35 nanograms to that threshold. If you have 35 nanograms of cannabis in your system, THC. It's a failed drug test. They moved that from 35 to 150, and that is the WADA threshold. So that's basically what the world's drug. If you have that in your system and you go in, you're probably high. You know what I mean? It's not like if you have it like again. There's other you can still have it in your fat cells and it gets taken out. But the nanogram,
but at that threshold, you probably have to be actively high. Is that what you're saying? Or
just been smoking a lot, like you're smoking every day. So smoke weed every day. It's kind of like that. So to me, it's more of a thing where some guys might have stopped and maybe got caught because it was what is that called? A trace of weed, right? Because of
like they smoked 3 weeks later, something, or they happen to hang out with a lot of people who enjoy hot boxing, or just whatever.
But the thing is that if they took a puff, and they got caught a week later. They got tested and a little trace came out. Now the trace would have to break the 150 mark instead of the 35 mark. My point is that before, when it was literally fucking a trace of a trace. Now it's truly. The first instances of a trace, and again, you got to look at it. It's quintupled the amount of the threshold. So at least it's going in the right direction. Let's just put it that way. What they have to devise, and that's also for the United States and to the world. When it comes to, if they really want to stop people from driving high and stuff like that, you just can't test someone because they smoked a joint yesterday and now it's still showing up that they're high, that they have it in their system today. The key would be, the active cannabinoids in the bloodstream, and that if that was the case, I think that would be the for I guess NFL, but mainly for the public, safety. That would probably be the best way of doing it. But you don't want just some bullshit number out there just saying if you have 35 nanograms, you're fit, you're high. We know that's bullshit. That's scientifically not true. So. That's just my little 2 cents. I'm sorry, guys. I went on that.
It's all good.
But I like the way the league is at least going the right direction. I think we all can agree on that, right? I mean, we got guys from Montana to Cowboys abroad we all should agree. Even if you're not the biggest fan of weed or you love weed, either way, I think it makes everyone happy, and we understand now that we're in the 21st century, for the most part, where we're at when it comes to marijuana. So. Yeah.
So,
the NFL's catching up with the times.
Tab 52, he said, so the NFL says, okay, no more suspensions for weed. Players, sweet. Players now on Instagram smoking giant blunts and bongs, while the kids that look up to it say, oh, I'm cool, I'm going to start smoking weed.
Well, I have a question, and I fully hear you, I understand you, but you can apply that to alcohol. I see guys drinking on. Dax got drinks.
They post pictures of strip clubs.
They're drunk.
And other things too.
They're drunk. I seen Zeke dancing with the Doritos shirt jacket. I mean, you've seen it too. What I'm trying to say is that the kids looking up to them. What's wrong with that? So if they're smoking or they're drinking, I mean, you got apply it to your drug of choice. And I'm not saying it as crack or meth, like you guys like Scorpio said about Jason Garrett. It was crack. I'm still laughing inside about it. I'm trying to keep myself from cracking up.
Let's talk about this though. If a player were to kind of overly and excessively showcase
I wonder how the league would deal with that.
Other adult things. I understand.
But the league does not frown upon strip clubs. I'm saying going to a strip club is allowed, right? It's legal, right? And it's allowed by the league. So is alcohol.
So
you can drink alcohol.
They can't make a difference, and they can't draw the line by saying that players can't show themselves smoking a blunt or smoking a bong, or hitting a bong, or at a dispensary.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is that because it is still federally illegal. That would be a rule that would have to be, I guess, one of the details of the weed rule. You can't just promote it. You know what I mean?
Honestly, with that, less so. I don't think that matters. I think it's more, don't do that kind of stuff in a state where it's illegal. Because like we said, if you get legally in trouble, even if it's only for marijuana, if you legally get in trouble, that's still conduct unbecoming.
But the NFL has the right to still say, hey, listen, I don't want, just like was that Caballero said that? Just like Caballero said, our stream boss. Mm-hmm. Just like Caballero said, you don't want the little kids looking at these guys doing this like look at it. If you had Zeke out there, like we did see him drunk and wobbly, right, looking like a fool, kids looking up to him, whether it's legal or illegal, do you want your kids looking up to that? Do you want your kids seeing that? No. Like my point is that smoking a joint in a legal state, even though people will still look at it and say, well, it's still federally illegal. It's legal where he's doing it, and the federal government ain't doing shit about it. So it's legal, in essence, in that state.
What we need? We need one of these players to get in some kind of legal trouble in a state where it's still illegal so that we can, just saying, what usually change happens when someone who's rich enough and important enough gets in trouble over it. Usually you don't see people like this getting in trouble for it. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I don't know.
My thing is, I don't think the players want to promote it in that sense. And they're not going to go out there and want the kids. They're going to go to the Pro Bowl and sign autographs and go to the games and sign autographs. And after showing themselves smoking blunts, I don't think that's going to be what they want to promote either for their brand. So I think that most players will be cool about it. But yeah, you might see a couple players do it, just like you see it with alcohol. And when weed becomes legal in the United States, and it will, when it does, there's no ground left to stand on that. The only thing I will say is that if the NFL wants to, listen, they're not doing it with NFL's not doing it with alcohol, right? They're not punishing people for being drunk because it's legal. But let's say for marijuana, because there's that line, right? There's that federal state line issue, and it's illegal. We know it's illegal federally, but some states it's legal. So the point is, they just say, you know what, you can do it. All this testing stuff, but we just can't promote it. You cannot. The NFL should say that. They should say, can't promote it. You can't go out there and be smoking blunts all the time because it's not legal in every state you're in. Even though we allow it, or we test for it in a minimal way, you just can't promote it until it is federally legal. I agree with Cab on that.
To me is a little bit ridiculous because if that was the case, then they wouldn't allow weed and blunt,
I agree.
Like the leaf or the whatever.
It's ridiculous.
And it's honestly,
it is. But that's the best way of handling it.
The same way they treat anything alcohol related. That's just.
I agree. But the difference with alcohol and Caballero made a good point. It's still legal. It's still illegal. So the legality portion of it, I get it. The way the rule is set up right now, you basically do whatever you want. It's just the reason is just don't flaunt it. That's it. That's all you got to do. And then listen, when it becomes legal, still don't flaunt it. Because you know what? People don't, a lot of these guys that go to clubs and they're drunk. Tyrone Crawford got drunk.
I know, but I think that you're also missing that there is definitely a good chunk of the population that smokes marijuana, that considers it a personality trait.
Right, or not even that big of a deal.
Not just because usually those people aren't going to go out there and advertise it like that either. It'll be more casual. You might see it hanging in their hand while they're hanging out with some friends, but they're not going to post pictures of them constantly smoking blunts or, doing all these other things. They're going, I'm talking about the handful of players that will turn it into their identity, a la David Irving. They're going to rock the gear. They're going to always talk about it. Their entire everything is just going to be marijuana. And that's, I think, where Caballero also, is trying to say, let's not have it turn into just weed, and be okay with it. Right. The same way that I'm sure most of us would have an issue if players are only showing, drink, club, strip, or whatever. If they were doing those things constantly,
if they're doing, but here's the thing: if they did that, they would be known as a partier. But that's it. As long as they never got in trouble, that's all they would ever be looked upon, and that's it. Case closed. I think that there's just that attachment in the people's brains that they think that it's so much worse because of the legality of it. So here's what I'm trying to say. To just make everybody happy, that's a valid point by somebody who maybe doesn't want to see it like that, right? In the NFL, I respect and understand that point by Caballero. And the thing is, the easiest way is everything stays the same we just said, except the NFL and their bylaws, when it comes to marijuana, they say, hey, you know what? just if we see you posting about it, if you see you advertising it, if we're gonna have to fine you for it, okay, or something like that. I'm just saying that if they at least they create that.
Fine you.
And Asha, meet your fans. Here, I'll put it here. I think she likes the mic. The microphone.
She does.
The microphone.
Like she's watching it.
1 2 1 2. A 1 2. Yo. Oh my goodness. I'm trying. You can only see one eyeball because the other eyeball is covered up in fur.
It's there.
Let's see right here. She's a little Ewok, right, guys? Asha, sorry, my eyeball. My eyeball is a little itchy from her hair. It's not supposed to shed, but she's it's a little. It's like human hair. When human hair comes out, it's kind of like that.
So, all right, but let's go ahead and kind of,
Well, again, continuing into this kind of direction, Randy Gregory, guys, if this occurs, I would assume he'll be back, but I still think that it might take a little time as a process. Since he was on the list of it from before, and again, there's no guarantee that Goodell's gonna lift the punishment. Let's say, what I'm saying, for Randy Gregory. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like he might not. You'd assume like, oh, okay, it's cool now, but no, he might be grandfathered in still.
Yeah.
That he got caught in the old rule. So I'm sure there's a bylaw in there. Like we're not 100% sure of every little term that's being used or it's being agreed upon. So there'll probably be a bylaw in there that says, don't promote it. Hopefully a bylaw like that. Hopefully a bylaw in there that says, the guys that are already suspended are allowed back in, or they have to still follow, let's say, a little stricter rules, let's say, and be tested, let's say 12 times once a month or something like that. Mm-hmm. Just throwing those out there. There could be these other smaller things that we haven't found, and maybe you guys haven't.
Hey,
who
whatever's
knows it?
clever kind of brings up another interesting point as far as marijuana. What if a player has a marijuana-related business in a legal state? The same way other players have other businesses they promote.
Gronkowski
like
promotes that. That would be. I guess that would be. Oh, man, that's so tough, right?
I'm just saying.
That's like flaunting it, but not flaunting it.
At the end of the
professionally.
day, that's where you have to treat it the same way. I'm sure. Do any players get deals from vodkas or liquors?
I'm sure.
Do other players? I'm just saying it'll have.
But
to be
I'm not sure about that. Actually, do they get?
Are they allowed to have sponsorships?
That's
from,
the thing. I'm not sure.
Like alcohol companies or things like that. Like
I haven't really seen anybody get anything from alcohol. So that's the thing. If they do have restrictions on alcohol, then you agree. Maybe let's say there is restriction on alcohol. Would you agree? Then you add those restrictions. You add marijuana to that group.
But at the same time, again,
need the restrictions.
I'm not sure that there are. Just because off the top of my head, like obviously I don't know of any players that have like in liquor and alcohol.
Well, let me know, guys. You guys know who's on. That's what we got the family for.
Yeah. So
you guys let us know on Fan Friday. We got our new family member here.
Yeah,
Blaine Ozuna in the house. We got our Fan Friday in the house. Star 111111. Haley 94. Where rocking it here.
and Haley,
Anthony Lavelle.
I'm definitely more with you on that one because he said parents teach. Parents can use it as an opportunity to express why they don't want their kids doing it. So, but
that's
Mom,
a good point.
Johnny Manziel did it. Well, if Johnny jumped off a cliff, would you do it?
I think
right now she might.
I made a joke saying we can't call her Zeke, we call her Zika. Of course, not really the best name for the Zika virus kind of situation. Hey, Asha, what's that? Oh, there we go. She is Brindle. Oh, look, now we're matching. That's the color.
I know. Look.
She matches our floor a little bit.
I know, it's a little bit.
Sometimes
she's hard to see.
Yeah, so here
we go. Let me go ahead and put her back now that she's a little more calm again.
Bundle of
she
fun.
was kind of whining a little bit there.
She's only here, guys, 48 hours from a very good breeder, chipped, and all the proper things. Fantastic dog. Puppy, I should say.
Yeah, so, Justin Curls, that's what I thought, but the way I meant it, like, obviously, Miller Lite is a sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. All the players are sponsored by Miller Lite. But I'm talking specifically, what if Jalen Smith decided to...
Instead of Clear Eye, he Clear Vodka.
No, just exactly. Like, he was, hired by, a whiskey
vodka
brand or a vodka brand or something to promote the vodka. You know what I mean? So, let me see. Star111 said Romo did Corona. I don't think... I think that was after he was no longer a player, though.
It was after. He was sitting with the phone. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was after. That was his first
No, that's what I'm
year
trying
out.
to say.
Yeah.
So
they're not allowed
it could be
to
possible
promote
that
it.
they might not be allowed to do it, and in that case, then obviously I could see a
so,
marijuana
again,
restriction as well when it comes to the business side of
Caballero,
things.
great point brought up there. And again, we didn't apply this to the flauntation, the flaunting of weed. Let's say on Instagram and that kind of stuff, where kids are following. We don't know what the personal, restriction. Look at the little Ewok. Look at the little Ewok.
Sorry guys.
The thing about the Shih Tzu, is that right? Shih Tzu. The things about the come here. It's that star of everything. It's that star of everything. You know it's that star of everything. Yeah, you know it. So the thing about this breed is that their front legs are shorter than the back legs. Usually the front legs are a little longer. These are a little shorter. That's the way their breed is. So that usually leaves like kneecap issues, whatever. We want to make sure we got her from a good breeder that was directing the dog and the puppy in the right way. The other one was unfortunately probably puppy mill dog, and sad, man. It's sad to see that stuff. So just leave it at that for now. But that's still Apollo, man. And again, we don't know what happened to him, but probably not a good thing. Probably not a good ending to him. So I mean, R.I.P. I guess Apollo. But Asha is here now, so Asha's in the house. Anyways, guys, so the deal with this CBA deal, the whole ruling and the discussion, the player representatives voted today, and I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm sure some of you guys know already. The player reps voted today for on this CBA proposal, which the owners approved yesterday. Now, as the day went on, the talks and the discussion with, I think it was 11 people, was very fluid. Byron Jones, one of the people involved in this here, one of the player reps. So it was a good fluid discussion. Yes vote, though, as we gonna know here in a minute, was not predicted. And again, a lot of powerful players out there, like we talked about J.J. Watt and others that have said that they are against it. They said it publicly, privately. So again, and some people think the only way they can kill it is with these 11 player representative votes. Is the only way they can kill it is if all 11 say no good. Okay. You guys understand? So like kill it meaning like completely say you can't even go to the next stage of voting. But if there's still a process, okay, depending on the votes. So what happened was the NFLPA, NFL Player Association, their executive committee, which is one, I think it's pretty sure Byron Jones is one of those player reps. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But here's the thing, guys. The executive committee voted, on 11 votes, they voted 6-5 to not recommend the current CBA proposal. So they were voting on whether to recommend it or not. If it was all 11 votes to not recommend it, then it would just not go through. Yeah. But because it was 6-5 right there, obviously very close. I think the only way, even if it was 10-1, it still go to the next level. But you can see the recommendations. It's close. What I'm trying to say is that it's close. It's still on the no side, but it's close. So all these things we're talking about, we're not just wasting our breath. A lot of these things are going to happen, or similar things going to happen, on all the different topics we spoke about. She all right? Oh yeah, there we go. She's very good. Good job.
Good job.
She's so good. She's. I mean, think about it. 8 weeks and 2 days old, and she knows where to go. The whole thing. Right now, she's going on a pee pad, but she's like, Asha's smart. So, anyways, guys, again, so the thing is this is the the committee, the executive committee, chose by 6 votes no and 5 votes yes whether or not to recommend it. No, 6 votes said do not recommend to approve this, and 5 votes said we do recommend to approve this. So it's just a recommendation. Keep that in mind. Now it's going on to the 32-man board of representatives. That's where Byron Jones sits, and that's where he's going to make a decision, which was supposed to occur today. Did not, though, guys, because here the executive committee, the executive committee group, which voted the 11 votes on this one here, they're the guys that are led by NFLPA President Eric Winston. Other members in there, Vice President is Russell Okung. You got Richard Sherman in that group in there as well. And And again, all these guys have voiced those guys I just mentioned voiced opposition to this deal. So those three guys definitely said no. The 32 player representatives, they're the ones that carry the actual hammer to like kill this deal or not. So they're the ones that are going to vote next. And that's where the talks were ongoing today until they got to a point here, guys. Because again, it eventually broke at the end of the day. I guess later this late afternoon, the NFLPA will not, the 32 reps, meaning the Byron Jones representative of the Dallas Cowboys, right, and the other 31 representatives, did not vote on this today. They did not vote on this proposed CBA today. The player representatives, they want a face-to-face meeting with the owners during the NFL Combine. So NFL Combine is this upcoming week, guys. It's coming up. Not this week. I think it's basically like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the meat of the Combine. That is when they want these talks, and it really starts Monday. So it's kind of in a couple of days, anyways. So they want to basically have the next couple of days. They want a face-to-face meeting with the owners during this NFL Combine period, where they can kind of maybe. Here's the thing, guys. It's a great sign in my mind that we don't have to worry about maybe a lockout because of the fact that this is a 6-5 by the executive committee. It might be 20 to 12 or something like this, right? Or 22 to 12, yes. No, 2 yeses, right? But we're getting closer to getting a deal done, which is a great thing for the fact that we don't have to worry about a lot. It's a great thing overall, but do we want it to happen this year when we have Dak and Cooper hanging in the balance and we would have our transition tag or franchise tag ripped away? So we'll have to see what happens. This is a lot of things hinge on this for the Dallas Cowboys. That's why we've been talking about it so much.
So quick question. Haley94 said with that meeting, is it that the NFLPA and the owners agreed to meet next Tuesday on negotiations, or is this the 32nd NFLPA meeting?
32 player meeting. So the 11 executive committee guys, as I said, a couple players in there, and then some other like executive guys, they voted today on it, and they voted 6. It was 11 votes, 6-5. Then the player representatives, the 32 player representatives, which is one of them, including Byron Jones, that would be the next. That way it was going to be done today. Those guys held off on that. They were meeting today. They talked about it, and they said, let's meet with the owners. Now, nothing has been confirmed yet. They just asked. They want to meet with the owners during the Combine. I'm sure the owners will agree, and they will meet at the Combine. They want to go face to face, and the reason why I think this is important is because face to face means you're getting close. We know this from the tank deals and the Zeke deal. When they start flying in and they start
actually meet, that's a good sign.
Yeah. So the fact that this is a good sign from the player side, saying, look, we don't have a deal yet. They're going to try to push for a little bit more. Here's what the owners, the first proposal, you never take the first one. That's just the rule of bargaining. You just don't do it. So you can get more. So the smart thing here, the ideal thing would be the players to say, they're not saying no in the way that, I'm saying, that like say fuck off. They're saying no, like, no, but let's work on it. Because we're almost there. And that's a big sign in my opinion, guys. So the official word from the NFLPA said this, the Players Association, the union, the players, the NFLPA, the NFL Players Association, they said this, quote, today the NFLPA Board of Player Representatives did not take a vote on the principal terms of a proposed new collective bargaining agreement. Our player leadership looks forward to meeting with NFL management again next week before the board takes a vote shortly after. So again, sometime next week with the owners, these players, these 32 player reps, Byron Jones being one of them, the representative of the star, unfortunately, he might not even be here. They'll be the ones that will be, trying to get a face-to-face with the owners and then kind of maybe, knocking this thing out, hammering this thing out. Let's be real. Let's hope so, right? So, but Darren, remember you guys, this guy, Darren Rovell, there's a source we follow, and he's a very important source during the Zeke trial. Yeah. And that whole, not trial, but the whole suspension thing. He said his opinion on this deal, on this CBA deal that was approved by the owners, and the players are talking about it, was this. He said, quote, I've been covering sports labor for 20 years. This deal the NFL owners are putting forth might be the worst deal, with the exception of the deal that the NHL, that's National Hockey League, the NHL players accepted in 2005 after a year off. There's no way the NFLPA says yes to this. And that's what we're kind of figuring. In the end, it's going to be a no, but it's a no with like, let's ... It's a no with like, let's say work on it kind of deal. And that to me,
I guess I'm kind of curious, like, what is it that he considers it, like what part of it is it that makes it for him like one of the worst deals?
Well, and we don't know. He didn't expand on it. I'm assuming it's some of this player revenue share with the 17th game. That kind of stuff, I think, is where is the big sticking point. We're hearing a lot of good things for the players, but that's the one thing I think that is the bigger issue. And we got a feisty little one right now in the house here. I think we just take it out. No?
I mean, she did just go.
Yeah, she's good. She'll be fine. Yeah. Save that for the next. So anyway, sorry guys. So when you have a new little member of the family, we gotta tend to her, and we're doing that right now. So anyways, by the way, guys, speaking of, since we talk about collective bargaining agreement, I want to hear from you guys about that and NFL news. I'm gonna knock these two out real quick. The only reason I bring this one up is because you might see us go after this person. The Bears released Taylor Gabriel, wide receiver. Do not go after him. A couple years ago, I said one of the guys in the slot, whatever. We'll figure that out in the draft, I think, in the slot receiver. But Taylor Gabriel has been cut by the Bears, and more importantly, and I'm not saying he's the greatest player ever. Please don't think this. But what about cornerback Prince Amakamura was cut from the Bears? And I think, again, not many people talk about this in Dallas, but I think that he would be a good viable guy you can at least take a look at. Do your due diligence. Amakamura, guys, he's a free agent now. He's been cut by the Bears. And again, if you do follow the PFF stuff, which we don't follow, but we use it we don't use it as facts. We use it as guide. It's a difference when you use different types of sources that gather numbers and statistics and analytics. It's I know it's kind of, you can pick and choose it, but we use it as a guide. Even when we agree with it, we still say it's a guide. When we disagree with it, we still say it's a guide. Exactly. So keep that in mind and take it with a grain of salt. But here's the thing, guys. Prince Amakamura was the Bears' fourth most valuable player in 2019, and that's per PFF WAR. So again, fourth most valuable player on their team. Not just on defense, not just on the defensive backs, on their team. That's a cornerback. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know what his price range is going to be. Probably, I'm off the top of my head, it'd probably be like a Trey Wayne's type price range. Maybe 6 to 8 million, 6 to 9 at most. But Prince Amakamura, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him out there in the free agent market. Just wanted to mention his name. When I mention these names, I always mention it because of the fact that there's always that little connection that could be resolved. It might be an NFC East team we talk about because it does connect to the Cowboys, it's NFC East. But I also talk about guys that might fall past our way. You never know. Now, again, a guy that's been talked about to a point where I just can't stand it, but we have to discuss it. Not discuss it, but at least got to bring it up. Tom Brady name, right? Not for the Cowboys as much, but again, because his name has been brought up by Michael Irvin, him being some kind of cowboy deal going on with tagging Dak, and we're not going to discuss that. But on Golic and Wingo, Mike Golic show and Trey Wingo, they have a show. I think it's on. I'm not sure if it's ESPN. I think it's ESPN.
Completely out of context, Golic and Wingo sounds very, very
Golic and
Wingo. Sounds like a weird
like
Disney movie.
Mike Golic and Wingo. Yes. So here's what was said, guys, by I think Jeff Darlington said this, quote, "It's time to wrap our heads around the idea of Tom Brady leaving New England because it's a very real possibility." So we don't know. Again, just because ESPN is putting it out there, don't mean it's going to stick. It could be that bullshit they're throwing out there.
From the first time that I heard it, I'm still kind of trying to understand the motivation behind it, because something about the fact that Tom Brady would willingly want to play somewhere other than the Patriots at this point in his life and his career
seems strange that he would push for that.
Seems a little weird. Yeah. But I guess I can't speak to what's going on in Tom Brady's mind.
Like ESPN does, they do what they do, right? And ESPN, unfortunately, they like to push narratives to, again, throwing the shit on the wall to see what sticks. And another thing is, and much love to our man Voodoo Alpha, the Cash App leader right now, and the Cash App king from last week. So we had a Wilburn, is that his name? Wilbon or whatever his name is. I think his name. Whitlock. So Whitlock was talking on ESPN, and he literally said that the Cowboys should acquire Matthew Stafford from the Lions rather than overpay for Dak Prescott. And I know the 5% or the 10% of the Cowboy fans that are Dak haters or Dak dislikers or the Dak doubters, whatever you want to be called, I don't really give a damn. Small percentage, but they're loud. Does that, saying, would agree, yes, that's true. I cannot agree. I cannot disagree more. Matthew Stafford, although he's a gunslinger and all these things, I mean, there's no way I would take him right now. No way I would take him over Dak Prescott. And I know people say, well, overpaying. You're not in 2 years, you'll be underpaying Dak. And I don't want to say that. They didn't say underpaying, but you'll be saying, what a great deal. Money. What a great deal we had on Dak 2 years from now. Easy. Maybe a year from now.
Especially if, fingers crossed, like Jerry and Steven are scared will happen, especially if Dak has a Super Bowl ring in that span of time.
Yeah, I mean,
like I said, the fact that Jerry and Steven themselves have that fear, I know it's just them obviously like, oh yeah, Super Bowl every year, but it's not. Like this is an active real fear that they have because they expect Dak to take them there.
Yeah, now listen, you want to talk about the Dak and his deep balls.
He said it, not me.
I'm saying that's part of the title, deep balls, right? That means deep. Hey, what are you guys thinking about? See what I'm talking about? You guys, my family, out of the gutter. Dak throws the deep pass this past season. You guys saw what he did out there. People talking about, oh, I want to see the numbers. Well, you got to see the numbers. Unfortunately, the team didn't do the rest of this job, and sometimes Dak didn't do his job as well. But the team failed. The coaching failed. So it's not that you can't blame losses 8-8 only on Dak. But it's still wins and losses are what we care about over everything, in my opinion. So when you look at the stats, we do have to look about why is there so much, like why is so much of the fan base still down to keep Dak? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, they backed us into a corner. So that's part of the issue here. But my point still remains that Dak is still a valid top 10 guy. When you look at it, these guys don't grow on trees. Mm-hmm. And he's a top 10 quarterback in my mind. And maybe can still, and he has so much upside, I believe, especially under Mike McCarthy, that his ceiling is higher than it is now. And he's already, I would say, top 10. So you can see him top 5 at the end of this season if Mike McCarthy tweaks him and gets him going in the right system, in the right direction with the team, with the coaching staff, and I believe that we are going to go that route. So
yeah. By the way, everyone in the chat saying Whitlock sucks.
Yeah, Whitlock is trash. I agree. Whitlock is trash. But I had to say it. I had to tell you that this is what ESPN does. This is what these places, they do these things, guys. They go out there and they say, hey, you know what? Let's talk and let's say some literally insane bullshit and just talk about it. That's something we try not to do here. I know it's sometimes we get into those paths because of the topics where they take us, but I really try not to get to that path. Mm-hmm. I try to stick on the road of facts and the road of what we know, of knowledge, not of only hopes, only expectations. We look at everything, and we look at both sides as we try to as much as possible. But I think that we look at Dak Prescott and you look at the deep passes and people say he's dink and dunk like Eastside Harold, who don't know what he's talking about. He knows he's not dink and dunk anymore. Or at least, this past season you saw something that's not dink and dunk. This year, guys, this is about accuracy when you throw the ball down the field. This is per brickwallblitz.com. And they have an analytics department that they run this. So it's kind of like a PFF kind of thing. But keep it in mind. And again, grain of salt, but nonetheless, they look at the number, the name here, guys. You got Kyler Murray. All right, he's in first as far as the best accurate deep thrower. Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes number 2. They have Deshaun Watson number 3. They have Matt Ryan number 4. They have Baker Mayfield number 5, and they have Dak Prescott number 6. Dak Prescott as the 6th most accurate deep ball passer in the NFL. So. Accuracy-wise, we could look at the numbers. Accuracy-wise, I mean, you look in here, and I'm looking. Kyler Murray, 61% of the time, he hit 61.22. He hit the deep ball. He was connecting. That's crazy, especially think about it as a rookie guy doing that, right? So, 61% of the time he's hit. Kyler Murray, Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, 60.66% of the time. Watson, 60% of the time. Matt Ryan, 57% of the time. Mayfield, 55% of the time. And Dak Prescott, 54.7% of the time. He was hitting the deep pass. You got, Russell Wilson, Wentz, Cousins, Lamar Jackson, all these guys down below Dak Prescott on this list. So Tom Brady, all the way at 16. Just for those that want Tom Brady. So just saying, my point is, when it comes to the deep pass, Dak can hit it deep, and we know he can manage the game down the field, but he can also hit you deep. and he's accurate with the deep passes. So yes, he might over. The thing is, I think the biggest thing, and he also has 42 drops by his receivers. If he had one more catch, he would have broken Romo's record. But here's the thing. I think the reason why Dak gets the biggest, even if you take away the what's those yards, the garbage time yard, which has really been no good. Not many garbage time yards have been associated. I gave 500-600, and that's overdoing it. He still has almost over 4,500 yards, Dak Prescott. If you take out the garbage time stats, which there really was very minimal. But the thing is that when you look at the fact that Dak can connect deep, and he can manage a team down the field, he can do it. You got yourself a quarterback. You guys have a damn good quarterback. I think Dak has proven these things over the course of 4 seasons. I think that his missed pass, when he misses bad. But when he hits, he hits you deep. He hits you on stride. He hits you well. He can also get you short. He can get you deep. He gets you middle of the field. He's shown that he can do these things. So my point is, if we had a couple less drops, he gets over 5,000 yards possibly, and on top of that, way over 30 touchdowns in my opinion. Especially imagine if Cobb's intercept those yards by Cobb, 2 touchdowns are taken away from Dak as well,
exactly,
and from Cobb, and also the yards.
If he'd had those,
he's 5,100 yards, guys. So for Dak Prescott and 32 touchdowns just on those 2 plays. So what I'm trying to say is that Dak has done more than enough to show he can do it. If you put him in the right system, he can do it in whatever system you put him in. You want to put him in a quick paced system, he's going to dominate in an up tempo kind of game. We've seen it. We know when he's out there doing this thing and kind of seeing shit, he's rocking and rolling down the field. When he's over there getting bogged down by predictable play calling, you put Tom Brady there, you'll see the same struggles. So I think with Mike McCarthy, that's the key piece here. It's going to make Mike McCarthy knows that he has a long ball. He can hit that accurately. He knows he can hit the short and medium routes and stuff as well. He can do it on the run. He can, some technique stuff. Maybe he can still tweak. Maybe there's some other stuff that Mike McCarthy would be one of the few that can maybe figure those things out because of how skilled he is. He's a quarterback guru going back to Joe Montana with the Kansas City Chiefs. So to me, he's got all the qualities you need to tweak Dak any little bit more he needs to. And then the key is getting that game plan that fits Dak Prescott. You get that together, I think we're going to see something special. But you got to get him in camp. That's up to Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. So when we talk about Dak getting signed, it's not we're being. I don't want to sound weird. I know it sounds desperate, but it's not desperate because we are desperate that we have to sign Dak because we just take whatever we can get. I believe that Dak Prescott is damn good enough to live up to the $36 million contract he's going to probably end up getting. And that's if he goes for a 4 or 5 year deal. If he goes for a longer deal than that, he's going to be getting closer to $38, $39 million at this point. And this is all on Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. If he just signed him last year, it would have been a whole different story right now. Yeah. And I'm just saying, it would have been like, wow, what we ripped everybody off. We would have been like, what a great deal. Because I believe Dak has the potential when it comes to his entire game. And again, you just got to give him better coaches, better system, better people around, better coaching scheme around him, offensive scheme around him, which is exactly what we got. When you got Kellen Moore in there, who again, first year coordinator, and putting up these numbers. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty impressive. I think we got a great base to start with Mike McCarthy coming in here, guys.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, Ori, I feel the same way. Mike McCarthy has a plan. Whatever his plan is, he's doing it, and I'm sure he's yelling at the Cowboys too. He wants Dak in there for all the preseason stuff and all the training camp and blah blah blah. So the fact that we don't have Dak in there now, as soon as possible for McCarthy to kind of you just chat with him, get comfortable, talk to him, get to know him a little better. Like, I don't know, seems crazy.
Yeah, no, but now we don't get that, right? Mm-hmm. That sucks. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay, no, I don't know if there's other chat. If we're good.
No, just kind of, let me see.
Just rolling with us.
Voodoo Alpha said Stafford and McCarthy equal 20 straight Super Bowls. IKill said Mike McCarthy is Dennis Celery.
What? Dennis Celery?
You remember that commercial?
I do. Yes, the
guy?
Little nameplate. That's kind of funny. That's funny.
Let me see.
Well, let's hope that he can win a Super Bowl. I don't think that guy could, but I think this guy can. I think that McCarthy.
Yeah, so
had
Justin Crow said 6 out of Dallas's 8 losses were by 1 possession or less. So that throws out any garbage stat.
Thank you. And again, people are going to say, this is what the people are going to say. Some people are going to say this, and we know well, we were down by 20, so they played prevent, and that's garbage time. That's not garbage time. That's not I can't wait till we get to
allowing a team to come back and get within 1 possession makes you garbage.
Yeah,
personally.
I mean, my point is that the garbage time that is not. My point is that the actual language of the word garbage time is when it's the fourth quarter. It's like with last year, game 1, Fiance and I were sitting up there, and we were winning 35-17 or whatever it was against the Giants, 35-13, whatever it was, and the Giants put in Daniel Jones. And, they went for it on 4th down multiple times. That was garbage time because there's no chance of winning. You guys understand? Mm-hmm. Okay, no, you're good. There's no chance of winning. So garbage time 101. But third quarter down by 17. That's game time. that's better. You better perform or we're done time. Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? Like if Dak doesn't perform, there is no game. There is no 1 point. You know what I mean? So that's not garbage time. Come on, guys.
And Frank, just to let you know, Teddy Bridgewater is rumored to, land somewhere for around $30 million a year. Yeah. You're not going to get away with paying Dak $30 million.
Yeah. He's not.
Teddy Bridgewater is getting 30.
Those are facts.
Just saying.
Those are facts right there. I mean, again, we're not trying to say that we're against your thought process or whatever.
Because he's like, I don't think he'll get $36 million a year, more like $30 a year. Because I think why pay him when they're going to be shopping for his replacement in 4 to 5 years?
Well, again, if that's the case, the thing is that I think the most they would pay him with a 4-year deal would be 36. Probably, just a little bit over the guarantees.
Dak's going to want more than that
for 4 years.
If it's a shorter deal.
No, I think 4 years. That puts him in a great spot. Number one, it makes him the number 1 paid guy right off the bat, right? Even though we know it's going to change, that makes him over Russell Wilson. What more could you ask for, right? 35 and a half, 36 million, right? And then you got yourself. You give him a little more over the guarantees. Make sure. Yeah, I know. That's it. Now, so it puts you over the guarantees. She didn't bite it, did she? Okay. So it puts you over the guarantees when it comes to, Wentz and Goff's guarantees that they got. Fully, their guaranteed money. You put Dak $5 million over, over whatever, what was 110 million was the guaranteed. So you give him 115 million guaranteed, something like that. And you average it about 35 and a half, 36 million a year for 4 years. I'm down with that. I mean, I'm pissed that we didn't do it last year for $30 million or whatever it was. Well, it would have been a steal. So now we got to pay the piper. Not we, but Jerry has to pay the piper, and we lose a player because of that. We lose a Randall Cobb, let's say, or we lose someone like that because of that $6 million. But that's Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. That's not Dak. Dak played. He played on a $2 million contract like a $36 million quarterback in the sense of stats wise. Now, as far as wins, well, that's a team thing. But he and the team did not perform like a team the way I believe they should have or could have, or at least more potential to have. Because I don't believe that they are overrated as much as people may say they are. I think they were slightly overrated, but I think that because you're overrated, I mean you're not good. We still had talent to win, and we had definitely talent to win more than 8 fucking games. That's facts.
I agree.
Now, by the way, report just came out, but guys, Alshon Jeffrey from the Eagles is going to, quote, welcome a change of scenery. So he wants out of Philly. Again, I don't think he's that good anyways, but the Eagles might want to part ways. Now let's talk about one of our guys, right, who might want to part ways. Byron Jones, right? We know he's probably on the way out, guys. According to the free agent talk out there, in the free agent market for the cornerbacks, Byron Jones is one of the ascending players that are due to hit free agency. Not just at cornerback, but at all positions. So he's a big name guy that people are going to pay big money for. And let's be real, as I said with Boss Cowboy, he's the best cornerback in the draft in the free agency right now, but also the most overrated cornerback in the free agency period right now because someone's probably going to overpay for him, in my opinion. $16 million is just. I don't know. My thing is, I don't think the fan base of whatever team he goes to is going to understand that he's going to not produce pick sixes and interceptions left and right, and that kind of stuff. So he's going to get that. He's going to shoot for 16. He'll probably get like 14 or something like that in that range. But the Eagles are looking at him. We know the Redskins might be his connection with them, but we also hearing that the Giants with Jason Garrett there definitely is looking at it. And again, Dave Gettleman is looking about knowing that he spoke about it today, that he knows that he wants Byron Jones. They got to pay the piper. They got to pay the money for him. So hey, I got to say one thing. I love Byron Jones. I really do. But I cannot say we got to get him for 16, 14, or 12 even. So I would like to keep him. But in reality is other teams are looking at him, and other teams are looking to pay him 14 and beyond. Yeah. So now when you look at to replace, we talked about corner, and it was a Troy Pride Jr., a guy we looked at as a cornerback, but a slot corner replacement in the draft from Notre Dame, possibly a second rounder. Someone like him would be a fantastic pickup for us in the second round as a corner. But let's go to safety for a second here. I'm going to diverge to safety and the draft for a moment here. Xavier McKinney, specifically him. We know about Grant Delpit and his ability to flex back and forth, mainly as a free safety. But, can play a little strong safety, I guess you can say. But here's the thing. Xavier McKinney, looking at him, guys, he's in the mix right now. Again, another mock draft came out today from somewhere. Who knows? Who cares? Putting Xavier McKinney with the Cowboys. So here's what they said, guys. Here's what moved the sticks. The NFL Network did this. Their draft analyst said this about Xavier McKinney going to the Cowboys. They said, quote, he'd be an unbelievably great player in Dallas. One of the safest players in the draft. Now he said that McKinney has great communication, great intellect. So this guy can play coverage. He can hit. He can wrap up. He's he's not the best coverage guy. He's not going to be a Grant Delpit, Xavier Woods coverage guy, but he's going to be a solid half the field, two safety deep coverage guy. That's okay. So I like Xavier McKinney over Grant Delpit because I like I don't know which way our defense is going to go, and we are lacking the playmaking big hitters that I think that Xavier McKinney could bring to that. Again, I did say about his size. I think he's still a little undersized for a strong safety, but he's still a hitter, and he's got himself. I think he's going to just get bigger and stronger in the NFL. He's got to start somewhere. So I think that one of the safest players in the draft. Any opinion on that? I mean, McKinney, him being...
You might want to give it a second, but let me see. Let me kind of scroll back. Let me see. Justin Crow said a wide receiver playing in Philly with tight end Happy Wentz is the death of his career. That's one thing I like about Dak. He actually uses his receivers. Let me see. Haley94 said $16 million for Byron will definitely make us eligible for a third round comp pick in 2021 if we play our cards right.
And that's what remember the other day we went through the comp picks. Quinn would be a fourth round comp pick at this stage right now. What it looks like, and Byron Jones would almost guaranteed be a third round comp pick, which would be equates to a high fourth round pick. Yeah,
Origi said Byron Jones probably will be able to develop better ball skills with the new team. 5 seasons of Byron Jones with Dallas is enough.
Right, five seasons of Byron Jones is enough. He will be able to develop better. He'll be now put into corner, not safety, for 2 years. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, he gets a little bit. He'll be starting with like 2 full years of corner in the NFL, basically. I know they started in the first year, but he was kind of flexed around a little bit in his rookie year. It is his rookie year, but when you're looking at the last 4 years of his career, 2 at safety, subpar, and 2 at corner, over better, much better. Those 2 years he's producing top numbers in a free agent market where I believe the corners in the free agent market are very low. Yeah. They're not good, but that's why they're more in demand because there's fewer of them, and that's why he's cashing in.
Yeah, and by the way, just
smart for Byron Jones to go out there.
Touch on what you're saying, Cardero. Statistically speaking, kids nowadays are actually smoking less marijuana than they ever have before, and also smoking less cigarettes than they ever have before. The people smoking right now are middle-aged adults. That's middle-aged adults and seniors are the fastest growing group of marijuana users, and the largest group of because there's actually seriously there's a recent study kind of put out there, but yeah, the kids are all right, especially now that we have more and more information, and now that marijuana isn't as taboo as it used to be, we're seeing just again a overall drop in the rate of younger children and high school age children.
Whatever's clever
vaping,
saying,
unfortunately, is up. Vaping is, separate from that, though.
Whatever's clever said, frankly, if a child is looking up to a stranger as a role model of character because they can catch a ball, then it's the parents' fault. Bam. There you go. And I know some kids still be influenced, and they still have some restrictions, whether it is alcohol, promotion by a player directly, or let's say eventually marijuana promotion. Even if it's legalized, it still might have restrictions in the NFL. You guys understand me? You still won't be able to just flaunt it in the sense of advertise for a marijuana company or something like this. But for instance, like if you have Dak Prescott in a club and Zeke in a club drunk dancing, which we've seen, and you have Tyrone Crawford in a club drunk fighting off-duty police officers. I'm just saying, this is not weed related. This is alcohol related in a legal society, right? So when marijuana is in a legal society, and it will be when it is, then and right now it's not 100%, but it's not 100% illegal. So when it's a gray area right now, and we're getting to over that line of eventually it will be legalized. But my point is that to me, it's like it's a very fine line. It's up to the NFL to the way they dictate those rules when it comes to marijuana compared to alcohol. Because to me, if they're both legal, you should treat them the same way. But I don't really see players necessarily going. I'm trying to think about it. Let me know. Do I see players out there doing dumb shit when they're drunk? Yes, a lot of dumb shit when they're drunk. That would be the same thing as if they're smoking weed and dumb shit. I think the dumbest thing we'll see when players get high is we're going to see a lot of like 2 a.m. Oh my God, I saw a football player at Taco Bell. Like we're going to be seeing a lot of those. That's the thing. I think that, again, the fact that there's less danger, the fact that there's less danger coming from the marijuana, the fact that there's, listen, if they're coming from from a club, right, there's domestic disputes. There's... I'm trying to show them behind the scenes here. There's domestic disputes with alcohol, right? And there's fights in the club with alcohol, and there's car crashes and alcohol, and so what I'm trying to say, and I'm talking about guys on our team here, like T. Will, and so there's been issues with alcohol, legal or illegal. Well, let's go by the 20s, and it's illegal, but going to legal, and the NFL. They treat it as such, right? As whatever it is. They're not allowed to sponsor it, but they're allowed to drink it and not flaunt it. But they're creating crimes on it. With marijuana, I think the fact that there would be minimal crimes being done while smoking weed. You guys understand what I'm saying? Like the crime of weed is the only crime. Like I don't think you're gonna see a lot of people breaking into throwing rocks to a house because they're high, and filming. You guys know what I mean? I think you're gonna see a lot of silly shit, and that's why. It might hit the kids that much. That's why people are more afraid of. Maybe it'll affect the kids more because it's not as dangerous. So kids will be like, well, it's not that bad. So, and there's one of the guys I like, that in football. So, hey, if he's flaunting it on Instagram and he's just eating pizza at home, it ain't that dangerous. I think that scares a lot of the parents. Well, actually, Justin Curls made this comment a little earlier when we first talked about the marijuana CBA stuff. Like, this could save Zeke's career. He'll get high and stay home and eat pizza. And that's that's the good thing about the point is that he'll stay home and get high, right? And just kind of throw that out there. The dangers are really minimal when it comes to marijuana compared to alcohol. The chances of a player, hopefully choosing to smoke marijuana or partake in marijuana and then stopping from at that are much higher. And I'm not saying that if they're going to be out drinking and they smoke, like the smoking isn't going to affect the drinking. If anything, they might drink less. They might sleep. They might pass out. But if they're drinking, they're gonna. If they just drink, he's Ewoking. He's Ewok. I say he. I know. I know. All dogs. I know. We've only ever had boy dogs, fiance and I. Yeah. So this is our first girl dog. So I still say he because I relate dogs to boys and cats to girls. Just, I don't know. Maybe it's those cartoons like when I was young. But our little fur baby. A little hyper fur baby. It's 2 a.m. Go back to bed. I know. My goodness. Is it 2 a.m? Jesus. Yes. Well, baby, fiance. This is the big gift. Yes. To the family here. So yes. Hey, listen. Got to go with the times, I guess, right? And that goes with dogs in the MCF household, and that goes for the weed policies, whatever they may be. Anyway. But hey, she has all her Dallas Cowboy gear. So. Yeah. Oh yeah. They didn't see it. Oh, yeah. No, I know they did. I'm just reminding everyone, So let's see. Caballero, I want to see his points. I want to see what his point is. So he says, let me see. It's already cost several NFL players their lives, says Justin Quarles about alcohol. What is Cav saying? Let me see. Okay, if kids get drunk at 17 and drive, they'll go to jail. If kids have weed where it's illegal and they get caught, they'll get a way worse punishment for weed. Look.
Obviously, underage drinking, I don't think is punished in the same way, but I think the issue with the marijuana arrests and policies have more to do with the way we handle marijuana. You know, like, I think a cop is more likely to overlook an underage drinker than he is to say an underage pot smoker with weed. Like, unfortunately, the person with weed would get maybe a citation or whatever or something. But I think that has to do more with the mentality and the culture surrounding it. You know, and that's why we're seeing a lot more places update their policies. Marijuana in many places is now just, you know, a misdemeanor if you, like an open container type of situation. Like, you can't be outside publicly smoking it because they don't want that, and you'll get like a misdemeanor, like a little ticket for it, but they're not going to throw you in jail or, you know, do something else. So, you know, I feel like there's also a difference because I'm sorry, but there is a difference between a 17-year-old kid smoking some weed and hanging out with his friends and a 17-year-old kid getting drunk and then choosing to get behind the wheel and jeopardizing not just his life, but others, you know, and making a really dumb decision. A lot of adults, hey, T freaking Will, you want to talk about irresponsible?
I brought him up earlier,
He's a grown-ass man who couldn't even have enough sense to not drive drunk. So
I don't want. Again, I understand the point that Caballero is trying to make, but you have to apply it to weed and to. You can't.
Exactly.
Break,
if you're going to,
you can break it down to every little.
Apply it that way to marijuana, then let's be just as strict when it comes to the alcohol. That's all, because they should be equally, you know, like they should be considered at that same level. Then, although again, it's been mentioned several times that they're obviously. The point is, his whole point is that it's still illegal.
My point is, I have no problem with that. They can say don't promote it. That's fine. As of right now, I agree with Caballero. As soon as it's legalized, then I disagree with Caballero in the sense of their ability to and again they can't promote it. They can't promote it. But I say you have players that are drinking alcohol. You can have players that are smoking weed. That's it. That's when it's legalized.
Yeah.
Until then, I agree with Caballero that why not? Just the NFL. All the NFL has to do is say, hey, just you. Part of the policy when you sign up with the NFL is you cannot promote marijuana.
Exactly.
The case closed.
And someone
you can't promote alcohol.
If one of you guys does live in a recreational state, I'm pretty sure the law is still you have to be 21 to. You know, possess recreational marijuana or to consume recreational marijuana.
21 is every state. Yeah.
You know. It would still be illegal for young kids to do it, but I don't think it's going to stop the kid. You know, the kids who are already going to do it legally or illegally are probably still going to do it, regardless of whether an NFL player does it or not. You know what I'm trying to say? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's up on the couch now. She's gonna jump. Yeah. Asha, come here. Bring her. Oh, I was gonna say show her one more time for the people in the back that just joined us. New family member right in the house. Feeling a little more comfortable on the mic now. What you gotta say? You just licked it.
Great.
Just licked it. How you doing licking it? The microphone.
She's gonna keep licking it.
She was still investigating it. There it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They all got to hear it.
Wonderful. So. And now, of course, I had to do it. Okay.
There you go. That's awesome. We got a cool little dog. She's gonna be a tough little dog, and she's gonna be repping that star over everything. Oh yeah, just in case you didn't see
I
it.
can't wait, guys. She does not fit in this at all. Otherwise, we'd put her in it now. But like, it falls right off of her. She is still way too small for it. But soon, guys. Soon. There you go. And guys, well, yes, little Asha licked the mic. Make sure to lick the like. Hit the like if you guys like what you're watching. Subscribe down below and hit the bell so you don't miss when we're live. We're here daily news info updates. And of course, much love to the one and only Open-Minded Movie Man dropping that love earlier. We still have Cab 52 as the stream boss. Ron Smith's the sponsor of the week, of course, and Voodoo Alpha. Currently rocking the crown.
The Cash App right there. And leading this week as well. With our man Anthony Lavelle. Who's leading the... Holy shit!
Anthony Lavelle.
What?
With a $10 holla.
As on almost unbelievable connection there. Anthony Lavelle with a $10 drop.
Players smoking weed than getting addicted to painkillers and other narcotics. a lot of our suspensions this past season were alcohol related or
That's very true,
alcohol
actually.
incident
Right.
related.
Right. They got drunk and then they got in a fight.
Exactly.
They got drunk and then they hit a girl in the club or something like this, and just saying these are the things that, to me, there's so many more personal conduct violations regarding alcohol than marijuana in the history of the NFL. I'm just saying, like, in the history of NFL, weed has been used just as much as alcohol, and yet there's everything that's 99% of the shit went down. That's actually breaking the law, like a car crash, like a violence, a violent act on a substance like this. This is show me a guy who smoked weed and like shot up the club or something like that. Like not just got caught with weed. And again, if you want to say drunk driving, you can say drunk, like high driving or something like Daniel Ross or Antoine Woods or like that. But to me, you treat those the same way you treat alcohol without question. But just in the overall thing, when it comes to an aggression, an act, a violent act, or even a car crash, not getting pulled over, a car crash that created some kind of issue. I don't hear marijuana not once in the history of football. Let me know when. I want to know when there was a marijuana related drive-by shooting. You know what I'm saying? That had that involved. You know what I'm saying? I want to know with an NFL player. I want to know when it was a murder because of weed or
now, I guess,
a fight because of weed.
Here's my question. How will the NFL handle, because you talked about him not that long ago, the Cleveland guy, the offensive lineman who got caught with half his body weight in weed or something.
He's not in the NFL right now.
Okay.
Obviously by him looking to try to sell off 157 pounds of weed. But he was, the way that they would handle that is, number one, he's not suspended because he's not in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But if he was in the NFL, they would probably, maybe it'd be conduct that's detrimental to the league. If he was picked up in the future, maybe they would do that. He's not in the NFL. Nothing needs to be done. If he came in the NFL, they probably would take a look at that and probably suspend him for like 8 games or something like that.
Let's hope no NFL players feel like they have to be drug mules.
Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. Although there's been players that have been, partaking in high volumes of weed and being caught with it for some reason. I don't know what they were doing. But much love, Anthony Lavelle. Appreciate you, bro. Cab 52 down to 74 points on the board, and Mr. Lavelle still rocking that first place. Yeah, I think she needs to go outside. She's got the. See, we try to teach. You're literally watching the evolving of our little pooch. Yo, yeah, she's ready to roll. Don't make too much sound behind her, baby, because then she'll get freaked out. Like, she has to just do it herself. Oh, she knows you're waiting. You got to go outside. There you go. So, anyways, all right, there you go. Because she should go right and do it. It's a little chilly out tonight, guys, so this is rare. It was like 80 degrees the last 3 nights, and then today's like 40. Something like that. I love it. But, fiance not a big fan. I'm sure Furball over here. I'm sure, Asha is going to be is okay with it with her coat of hair. So, anyways. McKinney, when we come to the end of it of this little discussion, we kind of got sidetracked because I know we jumped into you guys. We're gonna jump back to you guys in the chat, so just roll with us here, guys. This is the way we do this. The show, it's off the cuff, but it's also with some guidance. But we make sure we roll back and forth with you, especially on a Fan Friday. Good girl, she made.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she knows her deal. She knows what to do. 8 weeks old and she got that brain power. Hence why she's a cowboy. So. Yes, guys. So Xavier McKinney, I like him. He excels when he's closer to the line of scrimmage. So that's something that we don't get from really anybody. We got a strong safety. Let's be real about that. I mean, Xavier Woods, if he was to play there, we don't feel good about his tackling abilities. Same with Jeff Heath. If you're talking about, Donovan Wilson, who, by the way, happy birthday to Donovan Wilson, but our strong safety, number 37, and last year's 6th round pick from Texas A&M. Even though we like him. He's not ready to roll yet. As a starter, no. So on the line of scrimmage, guys, we still got to see more from him as well. So who do you got left? I mean, Xavier McKinney would be a to me almost. I don't want to say Cam Chancellor because I don't think he's that good, but I see him in that mold eventually one day, and definitely not in the weight. But if he gets conditioned a certain way in the NFL and can kind of, add a little weight there, you can see a 215 and knocking some people's heads. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see where he can get at. And again, expanding from where he's at now. So if you're going to go with safety, and I'm not saying you go with safety or not safety. I'm saying if the Cowboys take a safety, as of this point, it's going to fluctuate again, probably 18 more times before we get to the draft. I definitely like Xavier McKinney as a true strong safety rather than a Grant Delpit, who you can kind of fluctuate with two, him and Xavier Woods. You can be a little more deceptive, but you don't have that on the line of scrimmage type of guy that you can use with Xavier McKinney. Now, listen, here's what's interesting about McKinney, guys, when it comes to excelling in the line of scrimmage. The Patriots. Think about this when it comes to the Patriots. I know, what do I have to do with this? The Patriots' philosophy in explaining the importance of scheme, and basically, the smarts of a scheme. Think about this, guys. This is a big one here. Because this is from a great mind in Bill Belichick. There's a quote from Jeremiah. Basically, Belichick would always preach to those guys, you cannot win with a dumb safety. Just keep that in mind. And there you go, guys. Bam. That's star over everything, baby. You know the deal.
Sorry, she was playing with it off screen. I wanted to show her really quick playing with it on here, so.
Asha rocking that star. She knows better than she's not biting the star, though.
She actually stopped what she was doing when he said that.
She knows the deal. She knows. I've been teaching her.
Go get it.
Here she goes.
Into
Into football she goes. Wait till she starts seeing football on TV in 6 months. She'll be barking when the Cowboys score. She'll be an integral part of this channel, guys. Trust me. You know it. You know it, and I know it. So, anyways, guys. I think it's a great quote. It's a great kind of quote from Bill Belichick in the sense that he always taught his team on defense that safety, whatever, you cannot win with a dumb safety. And Xavier McKinney excels at being very smart in football. We don't know about his personal life. I'm just saying he's very smart, football IQ. He's he can cover half the field, and he can really play on the line of scrimmage and to a high level. So these are things that I think that would help our run stop game when needed, help our pressure on the quarterback game as well. So basically, you're helping your front line with some. Even though it sounds like, well, why would you help the front line? Well, he can cover in short areas against, like, for instance, tight ends and that kind of thing. He could play half the field as the other safety with Xavier Woods, but he can't cover the field by himself, right? That would be Grant Delpit. He could, but Xavier Woods can't cover the field by himself, and you throw someone like Xavier McKinney down in the box. To me, you can do so much with him there. Whether it's a tight end that he's covering, which he'll do well with, I believe, but more importantly, the fact that he can apply pressure in the run game. He could be used in blitz packages, and I think utilized in ways where you can get him in and in the face of the opposing quarterbacks to kind of really get them off their game and get them to throw inaccurate passes and or just take a sack, cause a turnover, playmaker. And again, in that kind of way, in that solid, safe safety kind of way, smart safety. Belichick can't win with a dumb safety. Smart safety, Xavier McKinney. And a guy who plays the basic way, the things that, correct some things that we never really had at the safety spot, which is a good tackler. We have aggressive hitters, but we don't have good tacklers.
Yeah.
Good guys that can really bang in there, even if they're a little undersized. Now, I like Xavier Woods, but to an extent, I think he excels at being a deep safety. So, he can play the whole field. He can play half the field. Xavier Woods and Xavier McKinney, the X factors out there. I think that's something to watch for sure. Let's see what happens.
I kind of said it earlier when you brought up McKinney, but if the Cowboys do go that way, I wouldn't be mad. I think there's very few picks the Cowboys could make that I would say, not too happy about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a few that I prefer over the other, but
again, we have to wait till free agency. Who did if the Cowboys pick up? And again, we're not going to get Jamal Adams. But let's say we got Jamal Adams, well, we ain't going to go with safety.
Yeah, and honestly, I still think it's a little weird that we're talking about safety in the first round, considering that we're still talking about Byron Jones possibly leaving. If they go, if they spend that first round on anything, you'd think it would be to kind of fill that safety hole.
But the corner's not deep. The corners are, let me not say deep, but the corners are not that good. They aren't
as worth it. Exactly.
Right.
They aren't as worth it at that pick, and that's why I'm
glad
that
The value pick is second round for a corner.
Yeah, that's where you can, I think, again, if the Cowboys go corner, that lets you know that they went for position of need over best player available. But I feel like you can make a huge case for McKinney being the best player available at 17.
We'll see. We'll see how things kind of progress. Again, one of the rookies from last year, Donovan Wilson. Happy birthday today, guys. Much love to him.
Happy birthday to him.
As we kind of we talked about. Well, let me just quickly touch on the. We talk about the draft. Tua, guys. Tua Taglio. How do you say his name? Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. Might be, yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa. He said, "quote If you're saying to me if I could choose what team I want to play on as far as my favorite team growing up, I'd probably tell you the Cowboys." End quote. I mean, don't get your hopes high. He ain't coming to Dallas.
I was about to say Tua for Dallas confirmed. No, it just reminds you, much like Patrick Mahomes, much like Dak Prescott himself. Lots of players grow up loving the star, don't they?
Yeah. And one of those guys, his name is Des Bryant. When you look at Des Bryant, guys, and we have to discuss him because again, we just discussed Xavier Woods. We just discussed Xavier McKinney, or whether you say Xavier or Xavier. Either way, X marks the spot. Imagine imagine the X backfield. That's pretty cool, right? And if it works together, fuck the cool shit. It's just the point is that if it works.
Are you saying the Cowboys are going to be triple X?
You got an X. You see what I'm saying? So my point is that'd be Hey, what if you add that third X? XXX. Des Bryant. What happens then? So Jane Slater, Bobby Belt, they had a discussion with him. And we have it here, the exclusive. I don't know if you've heard it. It's a little harder to find out there. If you want to find it, you can find it. We got it for you right here in MCF, My Cowboys Family, and we'll hear what Des Bryant said, guys. I'm sorry. We'll hear from Des. We'll hear what Des Bryant said, and we heard a little clip from it yesterday. Now you get the whole thing here. Let's soak it in. Let's soak it up.
Yeah. And honestly, just looking forward to hearing straight from him, just because. Like we said, when we first heard the whole Dez possibly coming to Dallas, we thought it was BS. We thought the Cowboys were using him. We thought Dez was just, trying to talk ish just to talk ish. But again, the more time that passes, I feel like it is a realistic option. But let's look at, I'm just saying, let's look at all the facts, though. All I'm saying is it is a realistic option because the Cowboys, I do think, are considering it. So if they're considering it, let's do our due diligence considering bringing Dez back.
I think
it's not a complete no.
I think they're considering giving him a workout, which is just. I'm saying it to just for the lights.
If they're considering giving him a workout, that means they're considering him being on the team. Every single person they bring in to work out is someone that they're trying to see what they can do for our team. So
fair enough. But
they're just trying to see is all I'm saying.
Right.
But the fact that it's even to that point, I just think is still remarkable to me.
I got you.
And that's why I said let's do our due diligence, just like any scrub, all the way to the top guys. What do you have to bring to the table?
Agreed.
Let's see and let's hear from him.
Listen, Jane Slater, she herself said that, she's known Des for 5 years. Listen to this, guys. And well before that, anyways, doing other jobs and stuff like that, she was a radio host, so she knew him from way back. Des is he's humble right now. He's hungry, and he's at peace right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So these things you're going to hear this in his voice. You're going to hear this in his attitude. So keep this in mind when you listen to Des. Again, I'm going to try to be an open-minded movie man here. I'm going to try to be an open-minded Cowboy fan. And I'm going to try to say, hey, let me not go back to that last memory I have of him on All for Nothing. All or Nothing when he's yelling at Dooley, Schmucko, receivers coach. So I want to see if we have maybe a different Des because he's going to say things like, a quote like I heard, like he's giving water to quarterbacks, like bringing the quarterbacks water, telling other receivers different things. He said he doesn't mind this stuff. He says I missed the game. So I want to, let's hear what he has to say about this.
Des wants to be a water boy, confirmed.
Well, he wants to help out the team. He wants to. I think he knows that he wasn't part. Wait, is everything good? She literally shit.
Yeah. She was trying to look for a pad.
All right. Well.
It's all right.
That's why she has to go out. Ooh. She don't have more coming out. I would put her outside.
No, she stopped.
Okay. I can't see how much is in there.
No, it's okay.
All right. Well, hey, listen. It's a process, right? Trust the process, as Jason Garrett says. We should call her Jason Garrett.
No. She says that's not allowed.
Well, there's poop in the house. But that's okay, guys. It's all growing. It's a process. Anyways, another important fact to note today. This was today. This interview was yesterday or the day before. But today, Des was out there working out with Patrick Mahomes today, guys. They were talking about improving route and technique and that kind of stuff. Des Bryant, Patrick Mahomes, working with Bobby Stroop at APEC 817, and that's on the Star property, but not the Star Cowboy workout. It's a facility at the Star that I could rent, and we can go work out there, guys. Let's go. But I'm just saying, this is Des Bryant. He has a time slot rented out with his group of guys like McCall Hartman and of course now, you got Mahomes over there throwing the ball and other guys coming in there, other receivers, some rookie guys in there. So, this is the atmosphere. You see Des, he's already trying to be a mentor for other players, whether they're young guys in the league, now in the league, or young guys going to enter the league as rookies. Either way, he's got himself a whole he's good?
Yeah, no, I just didn't want her to.
She good?
Yeah, no, she's fine. I'm gonna clean that up. Go ahead.
So, anyways, my point here being is that it's what's great here for our Cowboys for Des Bryant is that whatever the Cowboys decide to do with Stephen Jones, they're going to bring him in or not, give him a real tryout or not, just do it for show. I don't think so, but you never really know with the front office. So my point here being is that Des's mentals are definitely in a better place, and that to me is huge. It's huge for you can hear a different Des Bryant, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Definitely feels different. Again, I do think he was humbled, Dory. I think going through this the way that he did was humbling for him, but I also think it made him reevaluate his priorities in the sense of I think he realized that whatever it was that he was doing and giving, so
he said it. He said family.
So he was able to kind of just look. He had to get his mind right. Out of everything that Des has been saying or talking about, out of everything here, I think that's the thing we need to highlight because I understand that mental health and when it comes to football, it's kind of a tricky thing. That Eagles player who had a panic attack, Brandon Brooks, these things are uncomfortable to talk about because you have a player like him who people would, a lot of people would say, no, I don't even want him. I don't care how talented he is. We can't have a player who's messed up that way. But if he had, let's say, like a somewhat chronic injury or something like that, a lot more people would be interested. Well, it's just physical. So, for Des to come out and just say how much that mental aspect of it was affecting his game and in every aspect of his life, takes a lot. And honestly, for a guy like him, the things he said about Jordan Lewis, it just to me, it just highlights the fact that Des does have something special. He still has it. So even if he didn't play,
that's part of his package. He brings that to the team.
Exactly. So that's why we don't need Des to go out there and be the Des that he used to be. Because one, like we all said, that's not what he's here to do. He even said it. And two, it just we get that dog mentality. Yes, that juice that he brings. By the way, how cute was it when he slipped in that whole thing where James Slater was like, "Oh, would you be willing to play for like the minimum, basically?" And he's like, "I wouldn't say that." It's like, obviously, he's not going to outright say yes because then he screws himself out of any kind of negotiation for making more money. He said it.
He ain't gonna pull Jerry Jones,
I wouldn't
Stephen
want
Jones.
to. Obviously, I feel like he feels like he should get more than that, and he wants more than that, but he's also realistic. At the end of the day, he wants to play more than he wants.
He wants to play for the Cowboys.
And that's why I thought it was interesting the way he said it because any player with a salt, he's not going to say that kind of stuff and screw over his brother.
Right, and he talked about the Sean Lee stuff. He's talking about the Garrett stuff and how he addressed it really quickly, and he just wanted to say that, they handled it already in private, those guys, and they got through it.
I feel a little bit better just in general about the whole Des thing, like even just him working out. Like I just feel better about the whole thing.
And I think that, number one, I think he should get an opportunity to at least try out with the Cowboys. If Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones and all them and Mike McCarthy are all on the same page, Mike McCarthy's the main name here. It's not really – Stephen Jones got to get it. He'll be the first step, but – Mike McCarthy would be the reason why that first step happens. So I think that if it's Mike McCarthy wants to see what Des has got, then yes, they should bring him in, give him a shot. He can make the team. If he didn't make the team, he don't make the team. But you give him a shot. Now, I also think there's a difference in us reading his words. You see me reading his words, you hear me reading his words on our podcast or on our live streams like this, and you'll hear me repeating a paragraph. He said
his tone here, I think, is pretty important.
That's the key. When you hear Des Bryant, you don't hear the same Des Bryant you heard from the pre-Dallas Cowboy, the days he was with the Dallas Cowboys. And now the post Cowboy era. He's been going through a metamorphosis, so to speak, and now
Cat 52 brings up a really good point too. If we bring Dez back, he's not going up against their top, defensive backs anymore. You know what I mean? He's going to be going up against slot cornerbacks, linebackers, safety. It's just not the same level
type situations.
Exactly.
If he could bring even 3/4, or that'd be huge. If he could bring half of what he used to bring at that spot in those certain situational spots, he wants to be kind of like part of the team. I think he wants to be kind of like, hey, listen, he feels. I guarantee. Listen, he wants to be part of the team, and he wants to be like almost like
Dax Waterboy.
Well, like a cheerleader. I was going to say a cheerleader in a way. But
he always was that for the Cowboys, though. Not a motivator, exactly. I think is a better word for it. He motivated the Cowboys.
The passion. Yes. He brought the passion. It was real. Whether you liked it or not, it was still real. And again, most people, most Cowboy fans loved it, right? And most of the opponents hated it. And the point I'm trying to say is that Dez brings that on the field. He'll bring that passion. But I think he's going to also scale back the things that he's kind of self-evaluated on his own, and also with probably help as well, mentally getting in the right place. But the tone of the way he spoke, the way he spoke that entire interview.
Captain Skidmark just said, it was so nice to hear that side of Dez. I feel like I just made up with my best friend.
I mean, there's some of that to this, and it's not. I laugh because there's a connection there with that comment. I agree. I agree with Dez Bryant, and this is I've been saying. It's not going to happen, Dez Bryant. Again, this is a good interview to hear that Dez Bryant is being genuine, and he's not. I don't want to say he's being genuine. He is genuine when you can hear it in his voice, the passion to play, but also the things that he did wrong, whether it was coming in late, which he said he didn't know where that came from. He still kind of took a little bit of accountability for it, saying that he'll work on these things. That he's worked on these things that have been kind of messing with his mindset on things. I think the mindset messing with, and maybe it's the big head, and then he got humbled, like you guys said, definitely that. But I think it's also the fact that now he's accepted in the last 6 months to a year, accepted the fact that he will, if he ever plays football again, it will be in that capacity. It will not be in that Dez Bryant starting X role. You know what I mean? He'll be the X factor, but in a different way, and maybe just as an important way that he used to be with the Cowboys. So. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sitting here saying I'm championing for the best player, whoever they may be. For Mike McCarthy. I know that sounds like a rhyme, but I'm not trying to make it rhyme. The best player for Mike McCarthy, whoever that may be. If that's Dez Bryant, then bring his ass in. Let's give him a workout, and then let's see if he's really going to be able to compete in the 90 to make the 53, or if the CBA gets signed, 55. Man team.
Exactly. And like Boss Cowboys is saying here, think of it like this. Ventel Bryant, Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, Devin Smith, or Dez.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, Dez right now, without ever seeing him actually do an official NFL workout, I would still pick Dez over all those guys right this second.
After hearing this interview, without question, Dez. But
before this interview, I definitely had a few more doubts.
Well, the thing is this. I still, here's the thing. Dez... And I say this interview as like one of the more in-depth, longer interviews you hear about with Dez speaking, not just like a clip. So you actually hear the ups and downs of his viewpoints, but also of the way he's the better, well-rounded version of what Dez Bryant is, where he is right now. You're not gonna get 100% of where he is, but you get a better idea. It's way different than where he was 2 years ago with the Cowboys. Yeah. So to me, when you look at Dez Bryant right now, he is worth those risks. If he was being disruptive like he was 2 years ago, would you take him on the team? We all say no. I mean, not all. Don Jamea say yes. A couple of us say yes.
Well, obviously there's a lot of reasons to that, and what he was doing is part of it too.
Correct.
Because right now,
that's
like
a very
we said,
important role.
The Dez from 2017 and 2018 is not the same Dez. This is a different attitude from him, a different mentality, different mindset, and that's why I think it could work. Right. That's the only reason I think
he's mixing both those things together. That mindset change, along with busting his ass. 4 in the morning, he's up doing workouts for 3 hours before he works out with these guys here, Mahomes and Markel Hardman, all these guys at this facility at the Star, but not with the Cowboys team. Let's get that straight. I got to say that every time to make sure people understand he's not working out with the Cowboys. He's working out at the Star facility, but it's a rental. We could all go there and rent an MCF event there at the facility and work out there, all of us together if we wanted to. Same thing that Des Bryant's doing with this Rob guy, this coach. So anyways, so my point is that I like where Dez's mentals are at. That's the key here to me. I mean, I know he can get his physicals back. And we don't have that ruptured Achilles. So he get his physicals back like the way Sean Lee get his physicals back in the sense of like part-time role player, situational player. So I think that physical part and the way he's showing it now in the lab, working out the way he's showing, I mean, he's not doing anything like spectacular. We got to see him out there in competition. Right now, we can all run those routes. But and he's looking good. But let's see it in action. Let's see if he gets the contract. Let's see if he goes to that route, into that path. But my final point about Dez is that wherever he goes, Dallas or elsewhere or nowhere, the brain is right. The mentals are better. Or I'm gonna say it's right because maybe no one's right in the brain in the end. But Dez is definitely on that path of getting better like that, and that's bigger for him than it is even if he's going to play football again. But I think that along with his physical ability getting matched up to that level, and he's on this daily grind. Just like we are here at MCF in a different way. But, guys, a daily grind for Des Bryant is big. And that's big for his mental as well. The physical part of it is big for his mental, the routine of doing this. I think he's rocking. He's ready to fucking rock and roll. No joke about this. You can hear in his voice, and he's waiting to like be that cheerleader, passion guy, that fourth receiver for the Cowboys, if that's where it needs to be at, and be that inspiring, passionate guy in offense to give that oomph. That dog that he's talking about Jordan Lewis having when they win that one-on-one and immediately brought it on.
Ori, the thing about Sean Lee that really gets me is, okay, so first, obviously we started with, Sean Lee first had to decide if he wanted to play football or retire. He's going to play football. Then we had to see if McCarthy wanted him back and if the Cowboys wanted him back. And from our understanding, yes, the Cowboys absolutely want him back. They're open to having him back. And Sean Lee obviously wants to be back with the Cowboys. So let's talk about the things that aren't the agreed upon things. So Sean Lee, out of everything, he wants to play football. It's not so much about the money as much as it is about the playing and the play time. He is open to exploring his options because he thinks there's a team out there that might use him as a more full-time starter and not the way that the Cowboys have been using him. So he also doesn't want to necessarily be known as like LVE's backup. Not saying that he ever would be, but obviously that can't feel too great. Especially considering that, again, LVE's out. But even if he comes back, when he comes back, I'm so worried about the stupid neck thing. When he comes back,
I know.
There's still kind of that little asterisk.
Right.
Of course, we still don't really know. I mean, as of now, it sounds like he's going to be involved in all the OTAs and training camps and everything else. So that remains to be seen. But yeah, just saying. Definitely.
Yeah, I got you, man. Hey, listen, fiance said it all about that. And we're trying to...
mental.
I see Boss Cowboy in the house here. Marcus Smith.
And honestly, that's always been the point. We know we're going to be wrong. There's no way we're not going to be wrong. We're
wrong. Every single stream we're wrong.
We talk about so many things about the Cowboys. There's no way we'd be able to get it all right.
Yeah.
But that's the point. We get to sit here and discuss all these things with you guys. And, learn new things every single day about our Cowboys and just, and listen, hang here.
Des, till this interview, in this stream, I didn't sit here and listen to a 30-minute interview. I didn't know. I thought it was 15, 20. It was 30 freaking minutes. And it was insightful in many different ways.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to, I have to give a lot of credit to Jane Slater and Bobby Belt.
Yes.
Other than the one weirdly phrased question, it was just, because remember the paying question?
Yeah.
Or no, it was the McCarthy question. Like, the way she phrased it, I'm like, you're basically saying, like, Des, do you need a babysitter as a head coach? Like, just, like the one where she's like,
yes,
do you need, a more tough coach like McCarthy? Is that what you need? It's like, it's like basically admitting you're a giant man-child. No one's going to say yes to that in public.
Yeah. No, and no, I hear you. Other than that, for the most part.
I just said it was phrased weird, and it just caught me so off guard because other than that, every other question I think was,
Bobby Bell and Jay Slater, very good.
Well done.
Yeah, they did a very good job, and again, getting a good vibe of who Des Bryant is. At this point in time, not where he was 2 years ago, all or nothing, and all that bullshit going down. That was disastrous to a locker room, especially a young Dak Prescott. Now he's a much more he's had more snaps with Michael Gallup than with Des Bryant. That'd be Dak Prescott. So Dak Prescott's had more snaps with Gallup than he had with Dez. The point here is that that's already that's like a different Dak and a different Dez. we're at a new and improved Dak Prescott and now a new and improved. Let me see. I'm trying improved in different ways, but an older and improved. How about that? Old and but yet evolved. How's that? Old and evolved wide receiver that's willing to now accept mentally that I might be a third at best, but fourth receiver coming into a team, especially if it's a team I want to play for. He mentioned Baltimore. We know he mentioned Baltimore. He mentioned the Saints, but of course he wants to play. He'd play for them, but he wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys. And that makes it, if he makes the cut on the field with the 53, or let's say the 90 and the 53 and on, why not give him a shot? If it was because he had the same attitude of disruption in the locker room, I say, fuck, I don't give a damn about all that shit. We don't need that right now. But you got a stronger Dak Prescott. You got you can have that passionate Dez Bryant now, who knows his role for the Cowboy team. That's big for the receivers, the young receivers. Exactly. Is big for Dak Prescott. Is big for the offense. You understand? And that's another weapon in itself. Along, just that on the offensive mindset of having that extra, that oomph, that passion from that guy, right? Even if he's the fourth guy and he comes in for the red zone, that means he'll be scoring touchdowns or at least be a touchdown threat.
Momentum is a real thing. It's just the reason we want to keep the momentum, so to speak, is because the energy of the way that the team is feeling and acting is, significant. And that's where Dez is like the cherry on top possibly for the Cowboys. He could be that kind of motivating factor, that kind of thing that, when the Cowboys are down, they're the team that hopefully won't stay down. That's all.
Yeah.
So there you go, Montana. Have a good night.
Keep that offense rolling with that passion. That passion could take them those extra yards, right? I mean, as a team, I'm not saying Dez Bryant. I'm saying Dez Bryant on the sideline could possibly do that. But again, he's got to make that physical cut. He's got to make that 53rd spot worth him being on this team. And that's like number two. Number one, he's got to get past. We know Jerry Jones will sign him in a second, but Stephen Jones. He got to get past Stephen Jones. And again, more importantly, in my mindset at this point in time, Mike McCarthy's the bigger guy. He's got to convince than even Stephen. If McCarthy's convinced, Stephen Jones will pay. Stephen Jones say, come on in for $2 million. Coming in, we'll give you a vet minimum, whatever that may be. And you come in here and let's do it. And I think that whether it's $1 million, whether it's the vet minimum or slightly over, my point is that at that point, if Mike McCarthy sees it, I think that Stephen Jones will also then approve of it. At this point, that's what we can gather from the conversation they've had together, right? I mean, This is from both sides. It definitely was a productive conversation, much more productive than any of the past ones that they've had since Dez has left the Cowboys.
I think that's another, to my final note on the Dez thing, the genuine shock that Dez had when Steven, he's like, oh yeah, he didn't have me blocked? Is this Steven? Did I call the right number? I feel that on such a personal level because, like I said, Stephen Jones is the guy who decided to start his debut as the co-GM or whatever the frick it is that he's doing by firing Dez. That was how our introduction into Stephen Jones is helping manage the team here because now with Jerry.
The only stoppage was Jerry Jones of the Dez thing.
The fact that it went on that long was mainly because of Jerry Jones as well and trying to find every avenue to keep him here.
So Stephen Jones, along with Sean Lee, along with Jason Garrett, let's say, and I'm sure a couple others.
But I think it's shown how much we've grown as well as an organization, how much Steven himself might be the fact that Steven, look, I'm going to say it, but you know what? These are some very rich people.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
The fact that Steven even was nice like this, the fact that he even did this, it's at least there's that. You know what I mean? Regardless of how it ends up, I'm just saying that Stephen Jones could have given Dez, lip service. He could have just
and he
said
still
whatever.
Might be. We don't know.
But I know, but it sounds like it was a little bit more genuine.
I agree.
That's the impression I get. I'm just saying that at least there's that.
No, and that's the thing is that, the one thing about Stephen Jones and these guys is that, hey, Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones in the end, and we said this with Boss Cowboy. I know Marcus Smith in the house here, guys. Make sure you get that book. It is an ever-evolving book, an expanding book, and much love for the credit. We saw that some of the guys you added in there from us was Shaq Lawson and the Notre Dame guy. Troy, I forgot his name off the top of my head. But anyways, my point here being is that
we read the book.
No, we will be finishing reading that book and looking it over.
I'm making a joke. I'm saying if you want to remember their names, like
Troy Pride. There you go. Troy Pride Jr.
But yeah, no, actually, I'm gonna hopefully be reading.
There's another couple guys you had in there from us. Adrian Phillips, the Chargers. I finally got his name right. There you go. Hey, how about that? Adrian Phillips. So yeah, I think that it's a fantastic guide to use and utilize and dip in and kind of check out some options there. So we'll see what happens, guys.
Good night, Montana AF. Thanks for saying hi and bye.
AF in the house.
Guys, if you are still here, again, hit the like button. One of the best ways you guys can help us out here at MCF.
Yes. Don't forget to
subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell. We're live, daily news, info updates, all that good stuff.
And long-ass live streams.
On Twitter, at mycowboysfamily. Make sure to hop into the Discord as well. The link is down below.
3-hour plus live stream. By the way, long-ass late night live stream. A lot of L's here, but we don't want to take any L's in the regular season and postseason and Super Bowl. We want W's, and so that's what Dak got the stats. He's had the wins and pulled out some victories the year before that against bigger odds against him, and he's carried the team much more. So when you got to add both those, if you get those two things together and get that defense a little bit more aggressive, man, this team can rock and roll this year. And I think these things I'm saying are not necessarily impossibility. I think these are actually very possible. But the key word is possible. Probable? We're not in that probable stage. We got to see that shit. We got to see it happen. We can't get that. Listen, the 60 years of the Cowboys. I know we're in our 60th year, but it's tricky. It's actually, we've already played our 60 years. We've had 60 years of football. Anyways, the point is that we're in our 61st. We're entering our 61st year of football, and my point is 60 years of football. And for me, as in my lifetime, there's been no season more disappointing than this last season as an overall season. Not as like losing in the first round. You could say the 2007 Cowboys.
The potential, the expectations, and it's one thing to lose the way we did in 2015. It's one thing to have a horrible season, but we had the most average season. Right. In the weird, I'm just saying average in the sense of 9-7 to me is pretty average. So just crazy.
Yeah, I mean 8-8 is as average you can get, right? So to me, we are an average record team, and I believe our coaches brought us down a couple wins. Just generally speaking, whether you want to add the kicking situation and all that stuff, these are the average. Imagine that the Cowboys are a 10-win team. Even playing for the most part, eight of our wins were pretty much dominant. So imagine having 10 dominant wins and having 6 unfortunate losses, and still close losses, as we've discussed here. The garbage yards excuse that people say about Dak is exactly it's a really flimsy excuse, because that is just the garbage time. You're down by 17 in the third, it's not garbage time. If you're down 21 in the fourth with 3 minutes to go, that's called the garbage time. Those are garbage time stats. Or even 7 minutes in the fourth and you're down 24. Those are garbage time stats. This could be considered garbage time stats. But being down, 13 points in the third quarter, in the beginning of the fourth quarter, is not garbage time stats. So people have to understand that you have to have you have to be a damn good quarterback to bring a team consistently back. I mean, 8 games almost, right? Back every time, back to getting back into the game. I guess not. It wasn't every loss was like that, but some of these games that we had some bigger deficits in, that people claim the garbage yards bullcrap excuse. When you actually look at it and say, hey, listen, the game was still in the balance all the way. I guess you could say maybe the Green Bay game had the most garbage yards moments, I guess you can say, but for the most part, every game the Cowboys, it was a one score, a single digits game, or in the fourth quarter and final score. So we really never ended up getting blown out. And again, if it's not garbage yards, if we need a quarterback to get you back into the game, that's exactly what Dak Prescott did this past season. And if you look at the year before that, he got us the wins. He got us, in fact, the important victories, the important wins, like the Seattle game in the playoffs. And even though we lost to the Packers, he brought us back. In that Packer game, that rookie season. Even though we lost to the Rams, he was the one you wanted to get that ball. That if we got that stop, you wanted Dak. But you didn't want it. It wasn't Zeke or the defense. It was about Dak Prescott getting that ball back and giving us that chance, that hope. Right, down 8. Can we beat the Rams? So it was about Dak Prescott when it counts the most. That's to every Cowboy fan. You watch the playoff games, that's exactly what he did, and all in a positive way. You know, and what I'm trying to say, bringing us back against the Packers, beating the Seahawks, and bringing back, getting us back, getting us that hope that, and we were one play away from that, right? Getting that chance for Dak to see what he can do on that last drive. He was just doing it pretty much the entire season. He was the guy he thought he would be the blame. But we had a broken offensive line, and it was the Redskin game. He was fumbling in the end zone. But then we came back that game, and what did we lose that game? Bad coaching. Dak got us back in the game and got us. It wasn't garbage yards. It was Dak Prescott being a good quarterback. So people want to blame different things. The narrative they want to play, but the truth of the matter is, you get a good coach. If you had Jason Garrett, Dak might always stay that way. But I think with a better coach like we have for the offensive mindset, the scheme, and the fact that this guy's the bonus, he's a quarterback guru fucking coach from the Joe Montana days. And I mean, helping tweak Montana, the last days of Favre, and then the transition to Aaron Rodgers, and getting him going. He didn't just come in the league and just play and just be great. There's a coach that got to help you get there, no matter how good you are or how great you are. So McCarthy had played a huge role in all these guys, whether they're old or they're young. Let's use an
even more recent example. Patrick Mahomes is arguably, the most talented quarterback right now, bar none. But he can't do it by himself. Andy Reid is a mastermind helping to put Mahomes in the best position to win. So coaching matters.
And when Matt Moore took over, former Cowboy, by the way, the quarterback for, when Mahomes got injured, even though they split one win, one loss, the game plan stayed the same. So they still utilized Matt Moore as if they had Patrick Mahomes in there, and that's coaching. That's coaching.
Yeah, the consistency in their organization and the way that they were able to handle that as it went through. Just a compliment to the coaching.
The reason why it's coaching is because they did, of course, alter certain things, for Moore over Mahomes, or in hopes of those things, but the play calls were pretty much the same. The whole mindset, the offensive scheme was pretty much the same. But so they knew that they couldn't expect maybe an extended play with Matt Moore, right? Extending the play at the quarterback spot. You might be able to hope for that much more, of course, with Patrick Mahomes. With Matt Moore, you're like, all right, listen, you got 3 seconds, 4 seconds at most, and you better be open, And with Mahomes, you're always looking to be open. Like, you always know there's a chance. So, I'm saying that's part of it. But outside of that, it's the same system. So that's he's got his guys ready to play. That's where you can use the next man up scenario, not the Jason Garrett style, which never cohesively worked. Yeah. And when you have Mike McCarthy, I think that you're going to see similar things, as you said with Reed. I think you're going to see similar things from McCarthy in that sense. But with his new and improved kind of hopeful mindset on offense, his quarterback guruing with Dak Prescott, and yes, almost forcing some analytics. Forcing that creativity from Kellen Moore, first year guy who bombed, did fantastic things. When you can look at stats when it comes to creativity on some of those offensive calls, when it comes to Dak Prescott, almost 5,000. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, over 1,100 yards. Cobb. I keep saying Cobb could have almost had 1,000 yards if it wasn't for those callback two or three the offensive linemen held on penalties. Yeah, and he had 2 touchdowns and like 170 yards or something like that on 3 catches. So you add that in there, he's almost over 1,000, 1,000 yard receiving, receivers. I'm saying, and then you add, of course, Zeke with over 1,300 yards rushing. I mean, and the underusage of Tony Pollard. I mean, and the blockage, the blocking of any kind of advancement of Blake Jarwin. These things, by having Jason Witten there,
the lack of progression.
Exactly. There's a much better word for that.
Yeah, so then real quick, guys,
that's crazy, right? I mean, think about that. And we still, oh my goodness, we have a team that still has enough. I'm sorry, baby.
No, I agree. It's okay.
I'm sorry. I just,
don't move me too much. I'm human being right now.
I know you got.
So real quick, guys, if you kind of exit out of, if you're on mobile and you exit out of your chat. You can kind of see there, you hit the like that. Let's see, hopefully, there we go. So there you go. So the little like button is, and I don't know how well you can see it well enough. But there you go.
It's right there, yeah. Okay, so people that know where the like button was,
yeah.
Cool.
So, and if you're on the computer,
thank you.
I think you should be able to see it. I'm not on the computer, so I don't remember how it looks.
Yeah, it's not really the same thing.
I don't remember. I don't know when the last time was that I watched YouTube on my computer.
It's like...
basically only ever on my phone.
Yeah. Either way,
So
we
with
got
that
it,
said, guys,
Yes.
I think we are going to start, I guess, wrapping things up here. This is like an extra overtime late night.
Yeah, hey, listen.
MCF stream,
It's Fan Friday.
so-
We got a new family member. We got,
Here, let's show her off.
we want 6. And keep it in mind, guys, this new season, we got to see it on the field. We could be cautiously optimistic. I think that's the best way to describe the way I think Cowboy Nation should feel. That's my feeling. I shouldn't say that's the way you guys should feel. I'm saying that's the way I feel. That I'm cautiously optimistic about what we're building here with this coaching staff, along with the players that we already have as a great foundation. And look at this family member here. And great mascots for the Dallas Cowboys right there.
I know, little baby Zika.
No.
I know, we're not going to call her that.
Asha.
I know.
But yes. The thing is that I think that we have a here with a 5-year. We got 5. We got 5 for Mike McCarthy. We got 5 on it, and that we have McCarthy here sitting with with a rock solid team here on offense, pretty much set, and with a couple additions, I think we're going to be in good situation there. We're on defense where we're going to kind of have a hybrid. I believe more of a hybrid, more nickel, but still hybrid. Best 11 guys out there with substitutions as needed, not forced. So I think that's going to get the best 11 out there, whatever the down distance and situation may be. And I'm looking forward to see this aggressive defense here, whether it's Tom Sula with the more aggressive pass rushing, he runs a lot of stunt packages and a lot of.
What about Eric Berry on a team-friendly deal?
Well, you just threw that in there. Eric
no,
Berry.
There's a comment by Caballero.
Caballero, he's got to make sure if he passes the, all the medical stuff, which he really hasn't. If he does pass that medical stuff, he said he would just want to take a year off. He's going to come back, but he wants to play. So we'll see. Listen, it's the same thing. If he can make the team and he passes the medical and you get him for a team-friendly deal, roll the dice and let's see if he can win a spot. But for me to say, can he do it, with a year and a half off and still having the knee, the knee issues or the leg issue, the injury issues that you never know when that can pop back up. You can't rely on him. I look for him more as depth, as a veteran kind of leader, let's say, of the team, even if he is depth or a starter, and then kind of takes a back seat to a younger player. So, to me, a good question, but there's other guys out there I think you can get as well that I would be happy with, like an Adrian Phillips, like a Trey Boston. So to me, those guys, if you want to look at strong safety, and both those guys can play free safety as well. There's things you can do if you want to be deceptive with like Mike Nolan defense, which are deceptive and aggressive. Those two things to me is major keys right there to get this defense to the next level, whomever and whichever with which path we go with. Free agency will dictate what we do in the draft, which will then dictate, what. And I say dictate as in they already the Cowboys have a plan, so they know they're going to go free agency in these positions and draft heavy on these positions, or a mixture of both. Either way, I'm looking forward to see what we do with our. We can definitely, from what we already have with the foundation of what we have, which I've already discussed, we can build so much more just in the offseason here, free agency, and during offseason free agency and the draft. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Mike McCarthy is going to be able to swing when it comes to our personnel, and I'm talking about our player personnel, and getting them, and then on top of that, getting the most out of this team, getting the most out of the quarterback. That's his thing, but getting the most out of this team, and the quarterback is Dak Prescott, and this team is filled with talent heavy, and high ceiling potential players, which I think that gives us a possibility when you have a very strong and experienced coaching staff to go on a strong run of the 2020 season as an overall team. I don't even have to look at the schedule. I don't care where we play or who we play. I just think this team has to dictate, their future. Let's say their destiny. They can't sit here and say, we got a tough team coming up, or that team looks tough. I don't care about the schedule. The Cowboys are the scary team, and that's what they have to feel that, and that's what you get.
That's why we have to act.
Exactly. So that's why we cautiously optimistic. So before we can say, hey, we're all in, we're in, we're good, we're a good amount in, but we got to see this on the field. We got to see what McCarthy, the experience of these other coaches, is going to do with the talent that we have already here and the ones we're going to bring in, and then that could be the next step. But again, maybe not this first year. Maybe we'll see. But we'll see what happens. But give Mike McCarthy this 5 years, and let's see what he can get. Let's see if he can get a Super Bowl or 2 or 3. We'll see. We'll see what happens, or more.
There you go. So, but with that said, guys, again, huge shout out to everyone here.
Hit
the like if you like what you're watching. Subscribe down below. Hit the bell so you don't miss when we're live or here daily. Blah, blah, blah. You guys know what to do. But much love to the sponsor of the week, guys, Ron Smith.
Yes.
Can't do what we do here
Ron
without your continued support. And, of course, Cab52 is the boss of the stream.
The stream boss.
Much love to you. And Voodoo Alpha currently with the Cash App King crown. And,
he's also the leader, by the way.
Himself.
Yeah. He's the leader. Here, I'll disappear for a second. I see Zeke enter into this. He's scooping up. Hey, guys, Cash App King, our man Voodoo Alpha, much love. MCF Tech, fiance, of course. Just the better half here on MCF. But Voodoo Alpha, Daniel Mason also dropped some love, but Voodoo Alpha is, and then he dropped it through the Cash App, but Voodoo Alpha is in the lead right now with almost double than what Mr. Daniel Mason did. So much love to you, sir. And much appreciate your love and support here. Caballero, thank you, man. Cat52 running the stream boss. Anthony Lavelle right there. Much love, man. He's taking a little bit of a bigger lead there over Voodoo for the overall sponsor of the week, which is closing down.
And thank you, Rude Block. Thank you, No Dak. Thank you, AF. Let me see. I Kill, Ori Gidri. Thank you so much, man. Looking crazy. What's up? There you go. Made it right before the end.
By the way, looking crazy real quick with that Dez interview and every interview we've pretty much heard here in MCF. You can hear him repeating your picture, your you tweeted, you sent out, you tweeted out, and you put on Twitter where it had the Cowboys and then with Dez. Imagine Dez with these guys, and he took that, he retweeted it. I know he liked it and all that stuff, but he also talks about it. Yeah, he talks about it in all his interviews. So that's awesome, man. See, that's how the fan base gets we mix kind of some things mix and match out there, and he saw what you saw there, so, and we see what you see, so we understand. But we have to see and hear the mentals and feel it, and his mentals look and sound, and you can hear him how much better he is. So we'll see what goes from there, and I'm hoping the best for the X Factor, Des Bryant.
Let me see, Boss Cowboy, thank you for joining us, and guys, like we said, make sure to check him out, check out his book, go do it, and check out our Twitter, stream
his links
2 nights ago.
His links are down below, so check it out, guys, if you missed that.
There you go. Let me see. Damian Rainey, thank you for joining us here. He said he just started watching about a month ago. So, hey, much love, man.
Welcome to the family, man. Appreciate you.
So, let's see. We have Josh Kingberg. Thank you for joining us here. Who else? Aztec Aguilar. Stone Cold. What's up, man? What's up, Stone Cold? Let me see. Vato Salas 01.
What's up, man? Everybody, Nice full house here, man. Seriously, you guys are awesome. AF, check in with
Brian Bradford, thank you for joining us here.
Bradford.
Let me see. That's as far back as I can go.
Damien, yeah, no problem.
There
man.
we go.
That's what we do here, man. This is a good conversation. We don't really have a lot of little videos. We just go. We just give you the news. We just roll with it. If the dog barks, the dog barks. The kids, cry. The kids cry. We gotta adjust.
It is what it is. We don't have that issue.
But we do. That's the thing. We do have the late night stuff because of that reason. So we make sure we get our shit in order for the most part. You can't help an 8-week-old dog here that's been here for 2 days. So we're trying to roll with that. But
sleeping.
She's
out. That's it. Not touching her.
But we all 40 plus of us here outlasted her. So it's all good, guys. Seriously, we couldn't do this without you guys. And I hope we covered all these things. And I'm looking here.
AF, I hope you feel better as well.
Yes, feel better. AF, I Kill in the house. We got fiance in the house in the chat. I'm looking at the chat right now, guys. David Lara, Jesse Green. Who else? Ori Gidry, Cat52. Of course, much love. We got Justin Quarles, the Q man. Ori Gidry. Let me see who else. Frank Moyer, who stopped in here. Actually checked out a little earlier. The PA representation, Allentown style. No Dak Ninja. Josh Kinberg. Of course, Marcus Smith, who is Boss Cowboy. Much love, man. Appreciate you and learning with you. Anthony Lavelle. We know the love. Anthony Lavelle, you know the guy. You know the man. So we got ourselves Joe Garcia, who's in here as well. We have, if I miss you guys, just go ahead and post it. We'll shout you out, man. We appreciate everybody on here.
Yeah.
And again,
and when is the Combine again?
Captain Skidmark here with us. The Combine, now, they have some of the pre-stuff, like they have some of the weigh-ins and that kind of stuff. That starts, I think, Monday. But the day that I look at it is Thursday. Thursday is the first on the field. Listen, Wednesday is the first, like the when they do some weights, right? So they're doing weights on Wednesday. So you see a lot of that stuff there on Wednesday. Let's say that's when it starts. Quarterbacks, receivers, so tight ends, I think. So the thing is that's what you see on that day. But the Thursday starts the on the field stuff, right? When you see their movement, you see what they can do, whether it's blocking stuff, whether it's receiving stuff, whether it's throwing stuff. You see those drills. That's the full kind of the ending of the drills, and so it's 4 days. So you have different positions. So you have the quarterbacks, like I said, wideouts and other stuff like that. And then you have like offensive linemen, defensive linemen on the second day on the field, right, doing the drills. Then you have linebackers. What was it? I think it was running backs, offensive linemen, and another wide, and maybe special teams or something like that. And then the third day, I think you have linebackers and defensive linemen. And then the last day you have your defensive backs, which is Sunday, which is a big day. Because if we're looking at defensive backs, especially later round guys, this is going to be a shitload of guys to watch. Expect us to have that on while we're kind of chatting here in MCF. Our streams might be a lot earlier during this week. We'll see what happens. During this upcoming week, but more towards the end of the week. Like I said, guys, Thursday those really start in the afternoon, and it's Indianapolis, the combine, and so we'll see how that goes down, and it should be interesting to see what some of these young guys are going to do for this draft. So good question, yeah.
So. And once again, guys.
Yeah, I see Captain Skid, Mark, Haley 94, Ware, Thomas Garrett, Brent Burn Bar in the house, and so many others. Vato Salas. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all. There we go. We got caught up now. There we go. We're good. Rue Glock. Thank you all. Boss Cowboy, of course. You know the deal. Appreciate every single one of you guys. 3.5 hours. That's the way we do it, baby. And appreciate everybody here rocking the star over everything. That navy blue right here, as you see it on our what we're representing here. That silver too. That's that helmet that carries on that silver. You know, you see that? You see this? That's star over everything, guys. You know the deal here, My Cowboys Family, each and every night. And it doesn't matter. It does matter, but no matter what, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, we can represent that star over everything, and that's what it's about here in MCF. We grow and learn with you all. And that's what we want. And that's what we enjoy it. We love it. Let's do it. And appreciate all you guys in here in the house with us tonight, each and every night. Thank you all, seriously, for all your love and support. So thank you for that. And again, never forget, the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Go Cowboys! Hell yeah.
We're on the same page there.
I know. Poor, again.
You're putting her back to sleep.
She's good. She's good. She's good. So anyway, hey, listen. There's one thing she's gonna have to learn. Go Cowboys. So, anyways, listen. All love, seriously, guys. Thank you, guys. Couldn't do it without you all. When we talk about you guys in the chat, seriously, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, follow the Roundtable crew, follow, sub up to all those guys. All the links down below. As we said, Boss Cowboy. Make sure you guys check out South to Heaven 88. Subscribe to him and get your jerseys from him.
Yes.
Make sure Cowboys Abroad, Open-Minded Movie Man. So many here. You see, he dropped some love. It was a multi-minded Scotty. He's, make sure you guys check him out. Montana 808, on and on and on and on and on. Guys, you guys dropped the love in here. Thank you guys to I say Open-Minded Movie Man. I'm going to still call you Open-Minded Movie Man. Yeah. Multi-Minded Society. Much love here, 256. And Anthony Lavelle, much love to you, brother. Appreciate you rocking that first place spot as currently we speak here in MCF for the top sponsor of the week currently in first place. Thank you, man. Anthony Lavelle, appreciate you. So on that note, guys, we appreciate everybody here, guys.